the entire internet going ape over the fact that Trump decided on Truth Social to release a little reel. We're going to get into that tonight. Twitter is chipping out over it. By the way, let's point out that you maniacs blew it up. We also have a bunch of protesters who are finally being charged over in Minnesota, which is excellent. Caroline Levitt coping today. Another thing we're going to dive right into on tonight's episode of Timcast IRL. Stick around. But first, make sure you like, subscribe, and we have to move over to our sponsor.
It is Beam Dream. My friends, head over to shopbeam.com/Timcast and pick up your nighttime sleep aid to help you sleep better. Beam Dream's amazing. It's got L-theanine, it's got reishi, it's got melatonin, magnesium. I drink it every single night. Not a joke. Even I got Phil drinking it now.
It's great.
It's great. We got the little packet ones because we're out of the studio. But I drink it every night before bed. A delicious cup of hot cocoa. Cinnamon cocoa, it's my favorite. I don't know, I bounce between that and the brownie batter. And only 15 calories, no added sugar. Drink it, make a hot cup of cocoa right for the show every night. And I sleep beautifully. And y'all know I got a new baby who's always crying. And somehow I make it through because I've got a great wife. And, you know, but Beam Dream helps. And I do recommend it. So check out shopbeam.com/TimPool is the link you can use. And you get to 35% off. You can click the link in the description below. Shout out to Beam Dream for sponsoring the show. It is Rumble Wallet on the App Store. My friends, you got to check it out. They can cancel your accounts. They can freeze your cards, decide what you're allowed to buy, say or support. Big banks and financial institutions have total control and they use it. That's why financial independence matters now more than ever. Go to wallet.rumble.com. It's non-custodial. Okay, let's break this down. What does it mean? On the Rumble wallet, you can trade crypto with people who have accounts on Rumble. It's like an app where you can send people cash, but it's either Tether Gold, or Bitcoin, making it really easy for you to tip people on Rumble and pay somebody money you owe them. Maybe you're going to the store and you're like, hey, man, I want to get a slice of pizza. I didn't bring cash. Hey, let me Rumble wallet you some Tether, which is effectively tied. It is effectively US dollars. It's tied to the US dollar. There's no permission, no middleman, no cancel button. No one's banning you. No one's spending your accounts. Rumble has no control over this. There's no reality where Rumble can go in and ban you and shut down your ability to trade your currency. It is yours. It's not a credit line that can be shut off. It's your wallet, permanently yours. When the systems fail, institutions turn on their own people. Rumble Wallet is about politics, it's about freedom and ownership and protecting what's yours. So take control. Download Rumble Wallet now. Step away from the big banks. Go to wallet.rumble.com and check it out. We got a link for you too. I think it's, okay, well, that's not a good link I can say, but I'll have a link in the description below. Check it out.
Welcome back, everybody. Before we dive into the show tonight, I want to introduce the panel. I am joined with the great Rob Noerr. Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic today. Happy to be here. Really excited to get in some monkey business today, so should be good.
What you been up to lately?
Sleeping, a lot of eating. That's about it. Yeah.
Lot of eating.
Lot of eating.
Lot of eating. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's fair. Yeah. You know, I bring you on these things because the internet keeps telling me that I'm chubby, and it's like, you know, you want to have that friend. You want to have that friend because then you look better in comparison. Okay, whatever. Next panelist.
Were you talking about me this whole time? 2 days ago, I was telling you guys we had Sean Frasick on the show, and he was talking crap about nuking the world, and all this. He was trolling, and I proved it, and I called him out, and so turned out if you were watching last night, he actually was trolling you. So thanks for joining. I'm Ian Cross, and I also want to introduce Sean Frasick.
Oh my God, he jumped onto me. Hey guys, producer Sean
here. Can I introduce the guest, Ian?
Let Andrew take over.
Is that okay?
No, not tonight.
You want to introduce yourself?
Oh, yes, thank you, Andrew. Producer Sean here, holding it down for Tate Brown. And no, I'm actually excited to get into it with Andrew of why we need to nuke the entire Middle East. So yeah, I'm excited.
I kind of disavow. So getting over to our top story here, the Trump monkey business. So Rob, this is so stupid. My understanding of this story is what the Trump administration is saying was that they actually released a different clip. They went through that entire clip and then somebody recorded, like it moved one reel to the next and they recorded a part of the other reel. And that seems to be what their official story is. Now, either way, even if that's not the case, I still think it's objectively hilarious.
Yeah, I have a different take. I'm a little offended if this wasn't intentional. I think that that's a shame because what I want my president is dipping his toes into a little racial humor, you know? I think that's a good thing. By the way, if we nuke the Middle East, that's a lot of primates that would be killed. So,
Yeah.
you know, I maybe hold off on that for now. I mean, what a joke. The racism, I don't care anymore. I don't care. I'm never apologizing again. I do not care. I don't want my president to apologize for this. He should double down. Maybe he'll put a nice donation into a primate exhibit or something at a zoo around here to make amends. But what a joke. By the way, they also had Joe Biden in that video was an orangutan. Is that racist too, or is that just against the cognitively disabled? So
Well, they only showed, the problem was, people went and found the video. They only showed this small amount which was attached to the clip. And of course, that small amount only showed. So that's kind of what the left-wing cope about this is. And they're going berserk. Every single major talking head that I've seen who's on the left, who needs no excuse to call out the evil, racist, imperial overlord Donald Trump, is losing their shit collectively over this.
they're going bananas?
They
Would
are.
you say they're going
Yeah,
bananas?
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say Donald Trump is probably the truest patriot and probably the greatest man alive in my lifetime and probably the history of this country. But I was a little disappointed on the fact that he deleted this. You got to double down on this. You got to stick by it.
It had to be an accident. I can't imagine because they're like, you're a racist. He's like, no, I'm not. Post the monkey video.
By the
And
way,
you're like,
this
"What?"
article comes in from it's Tim Scott, TMZ. Trump's Obama ape video was extremely racist. Getting into it, U.S. Senator Tim Scott is slamming President Donald Trump's controversial video depicting Barack and Michelle Obama as apes, which he's describing as incredibly racist. I was laughing because of how uncomfortable that made me to say that.
Yes.
I could tell.
Not because it was funny. Stop it. You're going to get me canceled? ICYMI. Okay, so the video, which Trump posted on Truth Social Thursday night, showed Barack and Michelle's faces imposed on a pair of apes. And as we know, depicting black people as monkeys or apes is a racist trope that's been around for centuries. So, can we play this?
Yeah.
Okay, let's play it.
Can't do the audio, but yeah.
So when the vote stopped counting, and this has been
Kill the-
noted in other countries,
You
as
kill the
well,
audio? Yeah.
I don't
That's
see
just,
why we'd be able to hold that, but
Oh, that was fine. I thought I was going to have the
resumed
song in there.
was
Yeah.
a massive
It
spike
will at the end.
occurred
That's-
that,
yeah, at the end
that
I'll
favored
clip
Joe
the
Biden.
end.
so this is the video that went up?
Yeah, and it's there, and then it starts over.
You're like, no,
no.
subliminal, I promise.
Well, I think we haven't learned the
By the way,
lesson.
this is uncomfortable laughing, ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen.
yes.
This is
we're all
not.
we
very
disavow,
offended.
disavow.
You might
We're all very
think-
offended.
Disavow.
That we think that things like this are funny. They're not. They're not funny. They're very serious.
Yeah.
And we're laughing because of how uncomfortable
It's
we
more
are.
Right.
funny, strange. It's not funny, ha.
No.
It's funny,
Exactly.
weird. Like,
No,
that's
we-
funny.
No, I think it's absolutely hilarious. And I think we learned the lesson with Roseanne. Like, it didn't work with Roseanne, when she went after Valerie Jarrett. Like, the fact that Trump couldn't see that, or at least his staff, they couldn't see that lesson learned. Like, yeah, it doesn't work. Oh, yeah. It doesn't work. He totally needed to stand by it. I think that's why people voted him in. They wanted to see more of this humor.
Look, in all seriousness, it's clear what happened was, first off, the video is about like sort of the 2020 election being stolen, which gets into the Fulton County stuff, which is a serious issue. Okay, yeah, if there's a criticism to be made of Trump, he'd be posting stuff without watching it the whole way through. One of his staffers is watching the video, scrolls at the end. Like if you're watching X shorts and the next video pops up, that's what happened. So it wasn't intentional, but I don't give a shit. I find it to be hilarious. Some people would find it hilarious, not me, because that would be really bad if someone laughed at this. I also thought it was uncomfortable that they had Michelle as the ape and Barack as the chimp. So like Big Mike was the bigger of the two.
Yeah.
And that's very not cool.
Yeah.
Like that's sexist.
Yeah, sexist.
And-
for sure.
And then, furthermore, if you watch the whole video that the little clip comes from,
Yeah.
they have like JB Pritzker as an elephant. And, I figure I'll get in on this. What about us fat folks? We don't get to be offended? It's ridiculous.
Wasn't Biden also?
He was an orangutan.
Yeah, he was an orangutan.
And apparently the orangutan lobby's furious because they don't want to be compared to a human vegetable like that.
That seems reasonable.
All around.
But hang on, isn't there something to be said? I'll ask the whole panel this. Like, don't you want to kind of envision that there's like a nefarious evildoer who's plotting and he has control of Trump's Truth Social and he's just like, we definitely have plausible deniability here. Fuck it. Do it. Do it. And then they post it, and then everyone goes berserk and they're like, all the attention's back on us, baby.
I guess. But I think this is tame. Like, I think it would have been way more based if you would have shared, like, the Ellen clip with, Michelle Obama's junk,
right.
juggling around. I think that would have been way better. Like, this was pretty tame, in my opinion.
Yeah. By the way, show brought to you by Speedo today. Don't have your junk flopping around like Michelle Obama on Ellen,
So you think, the staffer, I wonder what his algorithm looks like. That's crazy that was the next video that popped up. I want to know that guy. That he didn't know.
Nobody's getting fired over this.
That's what I was wondering. You don't think Trump should
get
delete
a raise and a promotion?
An honest mistake.
They'll fire somebody who is already going to get fired and blame him for it.
Pam Bondi. Give her the boot. Blame her.
That would be great. Bondi was messing around on Truth Social.
It's like, did you ever watch Fight Club? Where he's explaining when he works at the theater that he'll just splice in like a picture of a
porn.
dick. There's someone in Trump's team like just splice in black people as monkeys. Yeah. There we go.
Nefarious evil character. Just a quick 2 sec. No one will even notice.
Yeah. But this isn't even new though. If you look at the White House Twitter and the White House posts, like they're pretty based too. They have like ICE videos with like various musical artists, doing it, like the Bad Boy. Didn't they do the Cops theme in one of them? And
early on, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this is, again, like it was so strange that it was deleted. And, it kind of reminds me of him disavowing Tony Hinchcliffe after the Puerto Rico joke. And it's just, I think Vance has the best position on this. Like he understands jokes and he's like, we're not going to get upset about jokes, So I am a little disappointed in Trump for not owning the joke.
Well, this continues. Scott, the only black Republican in the Senate, hit out at Trump on X, writing, praying it was fake because it's the most racist thing I've seen out of this White House. The president should remove it. And of course, California Governor Gavin Newsom called it disgusting.
Most racist thing has been paying attention, right?
So essentially what he's saying is black people are monkeys here. This is the message.
That's outrageous. That's outrageous.
Scott is he's coming out here saying black people are monkeys.
On behalf of Tim Pool, I disavow.
Well, that's what he said.
Come on.
I'm not saying it. I'm saying this is what he's saying. If you see this as a racist joke and a racist video, you're the racist.
You're going to get clipped.
Yeah.
You're going to get clipped.
Totally. Bring it on. I'll stand by it. Like the Democrats, they see a black person and a monkey and they automatically think black people are monkeys.
I do like calling people monkeys because we're all descended from them. I think it's funny.
You believe the science.
With our monkey bodies and like, yo, you crazy monkey. But like, then if it's my black friends and I'm like, you crazy monkey, my real friends don't care. But other people would be like, oh, how racist of you. And I'm like, bro, I'll call you a monkey too. I don't care.
I love that Tim nerded out.
I was never part of this episode.
Tim nerded out on Dragon Ball today because essentially the story of Dragon Ball, it's like an Asian guy who's a monkey. Oh. Like that's the whole story. He's an Asian guy that's a monkey. So it's like, why is that not racist?
Is it like calling a black person a monkey? Is it like the N-word? Like if you put a soft A, like monkey, then it's okay? No.
Oh, right, the soft A. Right.
Never mind.
I'm in
believe it or not.
I'm in the fucking Twilight Zone right now. I can't believe that this is happening.
Now listen,
I disavow all of this.
He was just on Joe Rogan, and now he's acting
so many disavows
over here. Huh? Oh, I can't be. I gotta disavow. Sorry, Joe. Hey, if anyone isn't gonna get upset about this type of video, it's Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? Let's go back to that compilation.
We tried to bring in the black people on
staff
to answer this question.
What is going on right now?
No reaction there. Come on,
what's going on right now? It's getting Rogan shamed.
Joe loves this video.
It's crazy.
All right, to bring it back
to do with Joe Rogan. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Bring it up, Jamie. What's that? Obama monkey? Bring it up. It says Mike Lawler said Trump should issue an apology. This brings up a real point.
I read the story.
I
I'm
wanted
the
my
host.
chance. You said after
I'm
the
the
opening,
host.
I got to do everything.
What do we gotta do?
Oh,
What
my
do I gotta do to
goodness.
get some respect in here, Rob?
Stop
Do another
insulting-
Rogan interview.
Stop insulting our fans of color.
Yeah.
Number one.
Not until you do Theo Vaughn. We're not going to respect you until you do Theo Vaughn.
Right.
And
Come on now. By the way, this is a Kill Tony audition here, right? You know. Yeah. Anyways, Mike Lawler, right? Mr. Open Border himself. Let's give it's not amnesty. Just ask yourself this: what's more offensive to the black community? I'm not black. I don't know if you could tell, but if I was, I would find it more offensive that Chuck Schumer's out there saying 71% of Democrats want voter ID, including over 50% of blacks, and he's saying that's Jim Crow. So on one hand, we have a little harmless joke that was obviously accidental.
But it's the most racist.
The most racist.
But
the Democrats claiming that even black Democrats are like, sure, I don't have a problem with voter ID. That's Jim Crow 2.0 because, black people are incapable of accomplishing the Herculean task of getting an identification. It's such a joke. So I'm not going to clutch my pearls or leave people clutch pearls over some dumb story like this.
Yeah.
It was an accident. The real truth is that black Americans are being screwed by this government, including Democrat administrations that care more about foreigners than they do the people in their own communities. Yeah. And so this is a nice distraction for them to pretend like they care about this community. They don't care. It's the same playbook that it's been for years. Just scream racist and do nothing to help your constituents. So
yeah, no, I agree. I think the next time we go and we do some hard ice raids and stuff, we just throw out a video like this, and people get way more upset about this than what's going on
I
with the
want
ice
people
raids.
to make AI videos of me with animal bodies. I want it. All the animal bodies with my face. Make it so why? How shitty to have a life where you have to be upset by one of those animals. Oh no, that animal you can't make me look like. Have fun with it, dude.
what would you want? What animal
Yeah,
would
what
be yours?
animal?
First a giraffe, then an elephant. Then
I
a
am
monkey.
always perpetually confused by everything you say, Ian.
Really. Just good.
I'm just in a perpetual state of confusion.
Yes. This is
But you're
debased.
really
why
good.
he's here.
You're really good at hell divers, though. So
I'm really
don't
good
care.
at confusing
You put
people
up
too.
Yeah.
You always want to subvert. I think a lot of what I'm doing, because what we're up against, global international economic order, this thing will just smite you if you speak out against. So I'm all about subverting that through comedy, through being weird, But yeah, I got your back in hell divers.
Like giraffes.
Like tramps.
All right, guys, let's move on to our next story. This is facing felonies, Justice Department. This comes from Fox News Politics over on X. Justice Department charged 158 Minnesota anti-ICE protesters with obstruction, assault, and FACE Act violations, crimes carrying up to 20 years in prison. AG Bondi warns that more arrests are coming. Do we have a video with that?
Not on this one right here. Oh, we got this article from this as well.
Yeah. So nearly 160 people arrested for impeding, assaulting federal officers in Minnesota last month. Board Czar Tom Homan said drawdown in federal agents will happen when more Minnesota counties cooperate and if people stop interfering with federal agents. Quote, if you violate the law, you will be federally prosecuted, Homan said during a press conference on Wednesday. Is there anything new going on here, though, really, Rob?
No, I mean, okay, it's good news that they're finally arresting some people.
Wow.
Woo! We did it. This is the Republicans in a nutshell, right? I remember when Roger Stone got 10 years for the same crime that we knew people in the FBI committed, like misleading or lying to law enforcement. And Bill Barr stepped in and was like, no, man, 2 years. And Republicans were high-fiving each other like, we did it. And then meanwhile, it's well, how much did Bill Barr recommend for Andy McCabe or Comey? 0 years. That's constantly the Republicans what a victory. There are lefties that are rioting, collaborating across the country with big money donors, politicians in the Democratic Party that are encouraging them to go out every single night on the street, an insurrection, right? And we are supposed to get all excited because it's 158 people got arrested and 80 of them they're already considering prosecuting. It's so absurd. I just want you to think for a second. Imagine anywhere in this country in a red area, right, where you had some Republicans that start paying lip service to well, we're against Obamacare, so we're going to stop federal authorities for coming in and doing things with Obamacare. And all of a sudden, right-wingers just start beating the shit out of the FBI under Joe Biden or something. The Marines would have been sent in day one. And yet we have cities in this country like Seattle, Portland, now Minneapolis, where it's perpetual. Every single day. What happens is inevitably it's going to lead to a conflict with ICE, and then they get to have their martyrs and clutch their pearls. So I'm sorry it's not enough. It's a good start, but I want to see actual people in positions of power start to be held accountable and not just their street communists that they have on the street there.
Yeah, and I do think it's a good move. I do think it's good news, but no, I agree. And we were talking about this earlier in the week. Like, I do think, especially the MAGA base, they want to see more illegals being removed. Like, that's the goal. Like, obviously arresting the LARPers and the protesters, I mean, great start, but we want to see the illegals being escorted out.
Well, there's a mathematical formula. I talked about this before. What they're doing, what these protesters do, is they want the stand down orders from the locals. They don't want any local PD, period. If there's no local PD, then the feds have to deal with it. And every minute that protesters are dealing with feds who aren't supposed to be doing any sort of riot patrol and aren't even trained for doing that, the chances of an incident increases.
Exactly.
And that's what the entire plan is and has been for a long time. We can watch this night after night after night out in front of Portland, and we do on the Crucible all the time. We're watching these people out in front of Portland. They're rioting in front of the ICE station. They do it in Minnesota. They do it all over the place. And that's what the goal is. And so I think what's happening here finally is they're trying to bring some kind of charges forward so that they can try to disperse these people. But I don't think it's going to go anywhere. If you have the locals and they have a stand down order, then there's going to be federal agents who have to deal with them in front of these federal facilities. And that is inevitably going to lead to conflict with protesters. And it's going to lead to more of the shootings. It's going to lead to more of this type of violence. And there's no way around that.
It's so criminally just disgusting what the Democrats, the media, et cetera, are doing. The problem we have is the Republicans are incapable of winning a narrative. Like, we literally have people rioting. Remember, they freaked out. Black Lives Matter happens. We see the riots. It's mostly peaceful. The media's all on board with it, right? I had been saying we were doing these debates. People like me and Andrew are doing these debates over and over again with these people. I told them the entire summer of love, eventually the rules are going to change and it's going to be the right's going to say, oh, we're allowed to riot? We're allowed to just do that, right? And when it happens, the first time it happens, you people will lose your mind. And you'll say it's the biggest deal in the world. But it's predictable because once you tell one side, go ahead, you could riot with impunity, the other side's going to do it. January 6th happens. Now, all they do is kick and scream. It was an insurrection. Kick Trump off the ballot. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. He engaged in an insurrection because he said fight like hell. Now, we're right back to where we started. By their definition, this is an insurrection on a daily basis. And not only is it occurring, the media is celebrating it. The Democratic politicians are celebrating it, saying they need to go further. We have people like Don Lemon breaking into churches. He's getting celebrated at the Grammys. AOC saying he did a great job. AOC on tape telling people how to de-arrest people. Right? This is clear-cut obstruction and based on their definition, insurrection. And yet we play this game where we have to sit here and hyper-parse anytime there's a violent conflict. Oh, well, was the Renee Good shooting good? Oh, was the Alex Preddy shooting good? It is inevitable. You take any law enforcement agency in the world and put them hundreds upon hundreds of times in conflict with people that are against them, that are being supported at high levels, and inevitably there's going to be a violent altercation. The left wants martyrs. Imagine being with a group in an organization that's hoping you die so they could stand on your corpse and then Photoshop you like they did Alex Preddy because you're too much of an uggo to be the martyr that they need. It's really disgusting, and I'm tired of the do-nothing Republicans incapable of winning this narrative. They fall for it every time. Well, let's go frame by frame through this shooting and see, yeah, maybe the shooting was good, maybe it was bad, but it's inevitably going to happen again and again and again until people call it out for what it is. The left doesn't like the results of an election, so they riot. And their game is, if you vote for us, we'll stop the riots. And we should be tired of it. We should not negotiate with terrorists.
No.
So they essentially, you're saying that they're causing the problem and then promising that they're going to fix the problem that they're causing, right?
It's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also think the base on the conservative side, they do want to see action. And this, I brought up this hypothetical earlier in the week. Those checkpoints and those barricades, they're funny. But, we talked about it last night. The locals are saying, oh, it's a safe space now. Oh, we're so happy to see these people out there. Oh, we're bringing them food. And my hypothetical is like, why hasn't anybody on the right gone out and done the same checkpoints and the same barricades? You know what I mean? And like really kind of showing them, hey, because, as soon, like you're saying, Rob, as soon as someone did that, people lose their minds. But at the same time, you're seeing something being done.
Well, and if you're building barricades out in these streets, what are you preparing for? It's not anything good. right? And that we saw that recently. We had protesters going out and they're building barricades preemptively. Why? So that they can get behind them after they start, throwing fireworks and fire bombs at police officers, which is what they do constantly. So they're preparing for another summer of love. Mm-hmm. It's happening. The fact that these protests have even been able to sustain themselves in this temperature, and they use outside agitators, they bring them in. They've been bringing them in from all over the country. We were watching the Minnesota Live the day of Don Lemon going in and creating all the havoc at the church. And one of the guys who was out on the street, they're going protester to protester to protester. Hey, where are you from? None of them were from there. They're all from outside areas, and they're busting them in because, of course, people don't want to stay out there and freeze their balls off, but agitators will do that. Yep. And so they're just trying to keep it alive for as long as possible till the weather warms up, and that's when you start to see this thing really pop off again.
Well, what do you think? I mean, what is the solution here? Because I know Tim's gone back and forth on this. Like, Trump either needs to step up or stand down.
You got it, dude. Look, you got to send in the stormtroopers.
Yep.
That's it. You have to send in the stormtroopers. You got to play the Imperial March while they're coming in, and they got to bring in some orders, and they got to put them under the boot, because if your local police is basically being told to stand down, and that's what's happening, where the hell are they? I watched him take a guy. There was a guy who was out there, and he had his bullhorn, and he was just saying, and a crowd swarmed him. They beat him all the way back to his car. It was insanity. It was insanity. Never seen anything like it. Not a cop in sight. Where the hell are they? Well, the local governments are telling them to stand down.
Yep.
That's what's going on. They're keeping them away from enforcing anything that's going on with these protests. The whole point of that is so that then federal agents, they themselves have to protect the federal buildings which are being surrounded. These protesters, what they do is they march through the streets, and where do they always end? In front of the federal building. Mm-hmm. National Guard units and things like this are usually dispatched in order to guard those federal buildings. And so that's what's going on. They're trying to increase the likelihood of incident between them and federal officers. They can point to them and say, they're Nazi fascists and look at what they're doing to us.
Right.
What would be the difference at this point if you sent in the stormtroopers here in order to guard these buildings? What are they going to do? Call you a Nazi and a fascist?
No, but
it's the same thing twice.
No, but what it is the conservatives and the libertarians get very squishy, and I heard all week about optics and how bad optics are, and
I'm
care
tired
about
of
optics.
fucking libertarians. I'm tired of them.
Yeah, but it's like
I've had enough. Like, look, the thing is your way doesn't work. It doesn't work.
True.
And we need to send them in. We need to send in first of all, federalize the National Guard, send them to each one of these ICE locations, and I mean bolster them. Yep. Bolster them significantly. I want armor on the ground. I want armor in front of those ICE facilities. I don't want them anywhere near it. Make them destroy their cities. Make them destroy their cities where the police have the stand down order, where they're rioting, looting, they're wrecking their own shops, they're wrecking their own markets. That's when you'll see a public outcry. But as long as federal law enforcement are continuously having to sweep this up, we have a massive problem. And that problem is that they're going to use a light touch. Eventually, you're going to have an incident. That's when they point and say Nazi, fascist, stormtrooper.
Yeah, but the message has to be it's going to be ugly, and we have to get used to the fact that it's going to be ugly because the left wants it to be ugly.
That's right. You have to win the PR battle. You have to be aggressive, and you have to win the PR battle. January 6th, how many law enforcement officers died? Right? What was it, like 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
That's the narrative they beat in our head. Actually, not true. Right. None did that day.
Did, right.
But that's the narrative. You want to know why? Well, a lot of officers unalived themselves months later. That's how great they were at propaganda. They were able to push that narrative. I wonder how many ICE officers may self-harm, seeing as how they can't even be at a hotel without these people rioting and trying to take it over. And yet, where are the Republicans? Where's the Trump administration telling their story? We had an ICE officer with his finger bit off the day Alex Preddy was shot. It was out of the news in 20 minutes. The Trump administration should be out there daily. Every time they do a press conference, they should have a big screen behind them, just showing the violent left rioting. 24/7 just playing. Every time they take a question from anyone in the mainstream media. And before we get to that question, here's another example of the violent left attacking law enforcement officers again. Over and over. This was true in Trump term 1, too. Remember when they attacked ICE facilities and they would take down the American flag and fly the Mexican flag? These are people that are funded by big interest that want mass migration and hate the people of this country. And the Trump administration needs to push it, because I'll tell you this much, ain't going to be the feckless Republicans, many of which allowed this immigration crisis to get out of control in the first time. So they're sitting back. That's the big, well, why don't they end the filibuster to pass some of this stuff? You want to know the dirty little secret? Because enough people in the Senate, the Republicans, don't want Trump's agenda. And that's why it's left to Trump to go out there and say what you will about him. I think he could be doing a better job. But it's all on him and his administration to win the PR war and to make all the perfect moves. And as soon as something happens like the Alex Preddy situation, all of a sudden the Republicans come out of the woodwork. Well, we don't like this. Maybe it's time to have the Dignity Act. Maybe it's time. Because that's what they want. They're sellouts that want this mass migration to continue.
How about a little compromise?
It's ridiculous.
Right. You can't compromise with terrorists.
Well, let's watch the video of the charges here before we move into Caroline Levitt.
Oh, is it muted?
Yeah, I think you're muted.
Whistles and chants of ICE out. ICE out! As federal agents conducted operations in St. Cloud back on January 12th. That same day, officers made an arrest, detailed in this court document. Prosecutors accused Timothy Catlett of giving an officer the middle finger. When the officers tried to leave, they say Catlett pounded on the hood and kicked the side door of their car. The Department of Homeland Security posted his photo on social media, calling him an agitator, and then Thursday filed to dismiss its own case. Davis Redmond is among the 8 others whose photo was posted online by DHS. Prosecutors accuse Redmond of driving aggressively while following Border Patrol agents before he suddenly accelerates his car, colliding with the black GMC driven by Border Patrol. Redmond's attorney called the charges bogus and the decision to bring the case outrageous, saying the charges were downgraded on Thursday to a misdemeanor. In a separate case, prosecutors say this federal agent was shoved and punched in the face. Brittany Stallings is accused of assaulting him. Border Czar Tom Homan said in the last month, 158 people have been arrested, accused of impeding officers. It's unclear if that number includes cases like Matt Allen, better known as Twin Cities rapper Noerr D. Our cameras captured the arrest the day Alex Preddy was shot.
I was just being grabbed by somebody. And so I began to run, and when I was thrown to the ground...
He was not running. Okay.
I was told that I was under arrest for assaulting a federal officer. That's what I was told.
Noerr D claims he did nothing wrong and told WCCO his attorneys plan to pursue legal action against DHS, ICE, and Border Patrol. We did reach out to the attorneys of multiple people DHS posted online and have not heard back from all of them yet. We'll let you know.
Yeah, please do. Thanks.
That's a great example of like how they're using this for clout too. They're going out there now. This guy, he's going to sell some albums. Fat Albert, whatever his name was, like he's going to go out there and sell some albums and stuff off this. But Tim brings his point. Yeah, Tim brings his point up all the time. They literally think it's a game. They literally think they're going out there and the police have fake bullets and
Some of them do. A lot of the foot soldiers do think it's a LARPing game. But the reason I don't advocate for sending out the stormtroopers, or I'm real concerned, is because in the rules for radicals, when you read about a radical attempt at a communist takeover, you want to get your enemy to do the mistake. They're trying to lull the federal government into becoming the fascists that they're telling them they are. And they're like, if the government cracks down and becomes deadly fascist, then the communists will say, see, we told you all along, now rally to our cause and let's overthrow this government. So like the government has to not snap, but at the same time, pick up criminals and arrest criminals without becoming the brutes that saying they are.
What's your solution then, Ian?
It's not acute. I don't think there's one day it's going to be fixed.
So just keep letting it happen.
This is the same. It's the same mistake Trump made in the summer of love. This is exactly. You're right. This is the game they were setting up. The argument going into 2020 is Trump's a fascist. So they kept setting the dominoes. We'll have places like Kenosha. We'll stand down. We'll just tell the cops to stand down. We'll do it in New York City. We'll do it in Atlanta. We'll do it in Portland. We'll do it in the Chaz Zone. And then we'll wait for Trump to send in the National Guard and then say, see, he's a fascist. The problem is Trump should have sent in the National Guard. Because at some point, if you're like, well, we're worried that if we do this, they'll use this to weaponize and make us look like the bad guys. Okay, then the alternative is don't do it. Leave them call you the bad guys anyways and get away with this with impunity. What they should have been doing when this started in LA, this is what I would have done, declare the Insurrection Act or send in the National Guard, whatever the courts allow you, which is a joke in its own right, and then go out during the day, go to your Home Depot, go everywhere. Every time they riot, get 5 times more legal the next day. Send 5 times more Border Patrol. And then at night, take them all back to the federal buildings, protect the federal building, and let them burn. Let them burn down the city. Go ahead. You go burn down LA. Leave the LAPD deal with it. We're just going to protect our little area. You guys, you come in our area, we're going to throw the book at you. We're going to arrest you and throw the book. But you go ahead, go loot. Go for it. We don't care. Do it every day until finally they're like, and then you have to win the PR war as well. I agree with that portion of it. But we cannot allow the left to be like, well, we're allowed to just riot and do whatever we want with impunity if we don't win, knowing that if you guys try to crack down, we'll say, oh my goodness, you're the communist fascists. Meanwhile, when you guys lose, we'll go after your lawyers. We'll go after everyone connected to Trump. We'll go after you for mortgage claims. We'll have sedition hunters that we now know the government was paying to watch all these videos on YouTube to go after blue-haired grandmas. They'll throw around their weight and no one calls, the media, no one's calling them fascist or anything like that. So I'm tired of it. Like, maybe you're right, Ian. Maybe it ends up worse. I don't care, though. The status quo is just me getting trampled on over and over again, while the people that lose get to use violence whenever they want. I can't accept it.
Well, yeah, what does he have to lose? What does Trump have to lose? So if the Democrats sweep in the midterms, and they very well may, they're going to impeach him again. He'll be the thrice impeached president, and that will be the legacy of his entire administration, will be that he's battling a third impeachment, right? That's what it's going to be. So what does Trump have to lose at this point by fighting back a little bit, by sending in the federal troops? How's that going to defame him more or hurt him more than if he doesn't?
It might not harm his career to send him in, but I'm concerned for just the statute or what it would set as a precedent for a president just to unilaterally send National Guard into cities against the will of the governor.
I mean, they've already done that, though. They did that during the civil rights, right? When they wanted to make sure that that little black kids could go to school, the president, he federalized the National Guard. And that was against the will of the governor. So there is precedent for it. That's one. And two, the situation dictates at this point, if you have local governors, local mayors, and local Democrats who refuse to enforce local law, and they're allowing the federal buildings to get surrounded, how do you deal with that except to reinforce the federal buildings? Like, I don't even see how you do it any other way.
Well, and the other thing I keep hearing is PR battle, PR battle, PR battle. And like what we keep forgetting is the base wants Trump, the MAGA base wishes Trump was 10% of the authoritarian that the left says he is. And, to what you're saying, Rob.
I do.
Exactly. So what you're saying, Rob, like they win the PR battle by putting the boot down. Like we keep worrying about what the other side and what people that, don't really matter think. It's like the PR battle is won when he goes out there and he, puts the boot down and stops this.
No. That's his base. That's his relations with his base. That's irrelevant. The public relations is everybody. That's
polling.
Are you going to change the leftist mind at this point?
Right.
They're going to believe that he's a fascist no matter what. Correct. They're all playing for this small block of the undecideds, of which I don't even think there's that many of them anymore. And what's happening right now is people want action. They're sick of seeing these lunatics on the street doing this day in and day out. They don't understand why the government is so hamstrung, and it's due largely in part to the advice that they're given, especially through the libertarian arm, telling them, look, optics, 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 optics. We're past optics on this.
Yep.
We're way past optics on this. And by the way, they're winning the optics war through the inaction. So there needs to be action, and Trump has nothing to lose, and we have nothing to lose by rolling it all here on red.
Well, another outcome that could be bad is if they are like, in order to collect these 20 million illegal immigrants, we need to set up our spy tech network through Palantir. We need to start using satellites to read your biometric data through walls with radio telescopes. We're going to be spying on you while you sleep. We're going to read your DNA from a distance. No more Fourth Amendment, but it's for your safety. We have to get rid of these illegals. It's so important, isn't it? Then bow down. Like that, I don't want that.
But no one said anything about that. We're talking about sending people on the ground to get the violent leftists.
Like
and stop ruining businesses.
And can't we have a happy medium of like, you just have to show your ID to vote?
Yeah.
And not, you have to give up biometric fingerprint data. Oh. I feel like the libertarians constantly do this. They're constantly pushing this idea that it's either 1984 George Orwell, right, or no law and order whatsoever. And it's like, no, we can have reasonable laws. The idea that you need to show ID to vote, the idea that you need to follow some basic laws of the land, I think is fine. And I don't think that that's crossing any Rubicons. I don't think that that's, your dishwasher talk. I don't think people are supporting your dishwasher spying on you and your cell phone spying on you and your computer spying on you and biometric hacking. They don't want any of that. But they do want illegals to not be able to vote in our elections. They do want to make sure that illegals can't get public welfare by just petitioning for it with no ID, no nothing. Why can't we have some happy medium here? And I don't even feel like that's a medium. I feel like that's just the mean.
And
right?
I agree with you, right? I don't want that either. There's still a little remnants of like the libertarian adjacent in me, so I don't want that. Problem is, isn't it interesting how we always come up with this when it comes to doing the things that the American people want or people like me want, right? So when Obama is in office, like, no problem, Patriot Act, George Bush, no problem, Patriot Act, Fourth Amendment shredded, no problem at all. But when it comes to like keeping our country secure from illegal immigrants, now all of a sudden, well, there's privacy concerns. Under the last administration, I had to listen to the left tell me over and over that I needed to have a vaccine card to go out and do anything. They needed to see everything about my medical history. They needed to be able to look into my banking information if I ever went to like, a January 6th rally or anything like that. But now all of a sudden those people are like, well, you're a bootlicker and you're invading people's privacy. If you want to be able to make sure that people are legal or else we kick them out, that's too far. So I'm sorry, at some point this game begins exhausting, where the one side plays for keeps and they're like, we'll be the most authoritarian. We'll start a disinformation board to censor. We'll collaborate with Twitter, trying to censor people off social media. But as soon as you're like, hey, can we have an ID to vote? Can we kick out illegals? Well, now there's privacy concerns. I'm just sorry. I think that it's right that we should focus on making sure things don't go too far. But the problem is so bad the other way right now. We have to start making inroads and hopefully cooler heads prevail and we make sure it doesn't go too far. But at this point, I'm all for deportations, deport them all, and I'm all for voter ID. And I don't have privacy concerns about either of those.
And we can't fool ourselves into thinking the government can't get into our devices. I mean, Facebook knows when you have to take a shit. I mean, like, come on. Yeah. All the stuff you have on that phone in front of you knows exactly what you're doing at all times.
24/7, it's recording you. I mean, that's why when you say, okay, device name, it turns on because it's listening to you the whole time.
Exactly.
I was all about sending in the National Guard in 2020, day one of that riot. I walked downstairs. I was working with Tim Pool at the time. I walked down. I was like, bro, where's the National Guard? And he was like, I don't know. And then 3 days went by, and I'm like, where's the fucking National Guard? It was but the problem is that was a riot, an acute issue that could be dealt with and quelled. This, pulling people out of their houses and evicting, like getting illegal immigrants out of here, isn't an acute issue that can be like tamped down overnight or in 4 days with the National Guard. It's like a chronic situation that could take 7 years. So I don't want National Guard flooding city streets.
But it's not the National Guard pulling people out of houses. The reason the National Guard's necessary is because people like Minneapolis won't cooperate with ICE, and then they have their people on the street attacking the actual Border Patrol and ICE people. That's why you need the Guard to protect them, because the local police stand down. You remember there was actual audio that we have from the police in Chicago, this is months ago, where they're like, we're dispatching officers to this scene. ICE agents say that they're being rammed by a car. And then the officer comes back, it's like, we were told to back down, to not send that. And you could tell the officer in the line's like, really?
Well, we had reports of ICE agents saying that they called out to federal officers for help and they weren't getting it. There was an incident where they were in a hotel room and they called out for help. They couldn't get any help there either. So, yeah, you can't prove definitively that there's stand-down orders, but it sure seems like there's stand-down orders, right? It sure looks like there's stand-down orders.
Did you see the clip the other day of it was at the hotel where ICE was supposedly staying, and there's this like badass footage of this like one officer that's holding the fort. He ends up like someone throws a brick or something. And he's covered in blood. Yeah. And like I saw that clip. You know how it is on X. You just scroll through and sometimes you don't listen to the audio. I clicked on the one audio and the guy's yelling. This is like, he wasn't even ICE. He was like some like security guy. And he's like, where are the local police? Where are they? There is a violent mob attacking me, trying to break into this building. And then there's a clip of the cop starts coming. And what do? Turn right around.
Yeah.
And at some point, that's what's going on. And this is why it's so risky.
To watch the cops high-five him in Portland.
Right.
It's so bad.
I mean, and like you can see footage after footage. You see people like Nick Sorter and others that are going out to these riots.
Cam Higby's another one out there all the time.
And they get the shit beat out of them. Right. And the local police, what was the woman, the one woman, this was a couple months ago. She gets smacked in the face with like a flag. Right. And she follows the woman that hit her and she gets a cop and it's like, here, right here. And the cop talks to her And she starts screeching, I'm underage, let me on. And the cop just lets her go.
Yeah.
And it's like, at some point, if law enforcement doesn't act, here's what's going to happen. And I predicted this before Rittenhouse. What happens is, if you say, listen, here's the deal. The left gets to riot with impunity, local police stand down, and we don't want the feds to go in and do it. People are going to take matters into their own hand. They're going to say, okay, we're going to see roof Koreans. You're going to see people that are like, that's it. We're not going to be intimidated. So we'll take to the streets ourselves. Now you got a real problem. Now all of a sudden, it's like we got a situation where a group of pro-ICE people are going to be like, then we'll go out in the streets and we'll stop them. And unfortunately, from that perspective, because the left has won the culture war for so long, the right can't get away with that. They'll bring the hammer down on the right as soon as you try to do that. So we're in this weird position where the best case scenario, I think, even from a libertarian perspective, is to say law enforcement must step in right now. And if the local law enforcement's unwilling to do it, then the next best thing's to declare the Insurrection Act and protect our ICE officers. If you don't like the deportations, then go vote. But right now we voted. And by the way, also to your point in the PR point, consistently, Trump polls lower than his right-wing positions. So in other words, mass deportations are more popular than Trump right now. And so I think Trump's team's telling him like, well, we have to back off from some of this because, you know, we're going to lose the midterms. I think the truth's the opposite.
Yeah.
I think if he would go more into painting these things, that you would actually see more support for him. I think it is popular.
Not a single step back. He's not backing down whatsoever. I think that that's the move, and I don't think he has much to lose by doing it.
Agreed.
I think he has very, very little to lose. So
you make a really good, just this last thing I'll say is you do make a really good point about someone needs to exact the monopoly on force right now, and someone will.
Yep. That's exactly right. Yeah. And like, it was sad. Look, like, I'm not here. I think Rittenhouse was well within his rights, right? But there's a young man that will have to live with the fact that he had to shoot and kill someone. And why? Because the local police sat there 500 yards away.
He looks like he's doing okay.
Well, I think he's doing fine.
I think he's doing okay.
But nonetheless, like,
it shouldn't get to that point.
It should not.
Yeah, right.
And it was predictable. And I understand from the libertarian perspective, it's like, well, we don't want the cops going and busting skulls. Look, I'm with you. I don't want to see National Guard in the street, but I also want to see local law enforcement doing something. I wouldn't want to see right-wingers riding with impunity in any city when they don't get their way, looting stores, attacking law enforcement. I would understand and say, even if these people technically voted for the same candidate as me, you can't do that. That is not something that we should be allowed to do. We should all draw the line at using violence in order to get your way politically. But the problem is the left has been doing this since the days of Saul Alinsky, since the days of the Weather Underground. You can see almost every single time that there's a right-wing president that you see these left-wing riots. And we've just come to accept it.
Yep.
You know, May 30th, 2020, you had a bunch of left-wingers that tried to break into the White House. This is when Trump had to be moved to a bunker.
Yeah,
and
they
Biden
call him Bunker Boy.
Yeah, Biden made fun of him, told him to go
Right.
back to his bunker and all
That's
that
right.
stuff.
Yeah.
You want to know why that they didn't get into the White House? Because everybody knew. I knew it. You knew it. Every single Secret Service agent knew it. All the law enforcement know the left's going to riot. They're going to riot. And with January 6th, they didn't expect that. Now, I think that they intentionally set it up.
100%.
But it's so ubiquitous with the left. We're like, of course they're going to riot. Of course. Right. We've just come to accept it. And so at this point, it's just like, man, we're not even upset about it because, yeah, that's what the left does. They just riot every time they feel like it. So sure, there'll be law enforcement there. They could protect the president. But other than that, they're just going to run rampant through the streets of D.C. or Portland or Seattle or wherever. And I'm sorry, at some point, people are losing faith in our legal system where they could look out and they could see this happen over and over and over again. Meanwhile, we live in this anarcho-tyranny where if, you know, you get a speeding you go ahead. If you don't like what your local government's doing, ram your car into them. See if you get a misdemeanor. Right. Your ass is going to jail for a long time. So people are fed up, including myself.
Where's your bail fund?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's nowhere.
Promote that bail
you ain't
fund.
getting your bail fund. I think that that's a really good point. Moving right into that, this comes in from, I guess, an in-house reporter here. Is that correct?
Yep, it's Alad.
Yeah, Alad Allahu.
Nice.
Am I pronouncing that right?
Eliyahu. Yeah.
Allahu?
The legend.
Allahu?
Yeah.
Okay. Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt answers questions on Department of Homeland Security on demasking demands from the Democrats to fund DHS. Leavitt says it's something the White House will be discussing with lawmakers. Let's play the video.
All right. Oh, what the hell?
Give it to me, Caroline. I want it.
DHS funding was to demask ICE agents. One of the Democrats' main demands for DHS funding was to demask ICE agents. Is this something that the president is even considering?
Again, this is one of the specific points in the letter that went out.
And we'll back the video up in just a second here, but notice the focal point here: demasking ICE agents. Right. So what's been going on, in my opinion, is a mass terror campaign, which is reminiscent of Weather Underground, and the left demands that ICE agents be unmasked, and this way they can dox them. They can get that dox out to people who will actually affect some sort of terror against these agents. That's what's actually happening in real time, and that's what the concern is. That concern is legitimate. We've seen these people before surround people's houses. We've seen them before. They went to Tucker Carlson's house. Yep. They will harass these agents and they will dox their families, and they're happy to do it. Now, they claim on their side, wait a second, we have a right to know who these people are. They're public service officials, and they shouldn't be out here masked up. That comes with the territory. So how do you solve that from the libertarian prism, Ian?
Yeah, I think you need to allow them to be masked personally. It's kind of like, I guess this is the beginning of the stormtrooper. Literally, this is why they will wear full body armor, so you don't know who's who. And plausible deniability, you can't go after their families, but like, are we the empire? I don't know. I don't want to be, but this republic is like on its deathbed right now. I don't know
where are the voices on the left? Where are the voices on the left going, you know what? Maybe we should stop our people from attacking ICE. Maybe we should stop people like Larry Krasner, who's the like AG or whatever, the DA in Philadelphia, that's like, we're going to go after every ICE agent with Nuremberg type trials. We're going to unmask you all afterwards. There's like, you put them in this untenable situation where it's like, hey, if you do this work that the people voted for, lefties are going to hunt you down and hunt your family down, right? And the politicians of the left are going to basically pay lip service. They won't say be violent, but they're going to say, oh, you'll never work in California again if you work for ICE. Oh, we'll find out who you are. Oh, we're going to go after you with Nuremberg trials. Like, we're in this situation where it's like all of the problems are starting because we've allowed the left to be violent thugs. And no one will call it out. They're just like, well, we don't like the symptom. We don't like the fact that now they're wearing masks. They wouldn't have to wear masks if the left didn't get away with rioting with impunity over and over and over.
We also pretend that just laughing at them will do this.
Right.
Oh, we can just laugh at them because they're silly.
Right, exactly.
They're stupid, weak soy boys, blah, 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 blah. But
with no action.
Yeah, that's not working. You can't just laugh at them. We have to take actual action here. And if we don't take action here and the administration doesn't take action here, they're going to continue. And they're going to win this overwhelmingly. So
yeah, there's no voices on the left because this is what they want to
Correct.
see. I mean, they literally, and there's a lot of low information people on the left. I get it because they're like, oh, we like brown people and tears for brown people or whatever. But you have, the people that are actually doing these actions admit this stuff. I mean, we saw it in Minnesota where they were going after the hotels. They were working with local businesses to figure out where ICE was staying, what they were doing, the rental car places that were giving them the cars. I mean, this is a part of their plan. They want to dox them. They want their identities to be exposed.
And how are they going to harass them? They're not going to harass them by going after the agents. They're going to go after their families.
Correct.
That's how they always do it. They always make the opinion to go after the families. It's a demoralization campaign. You don't come out here because if you do, there's going to be consequences. Maybe not to you, but how much are you willing to put up with for a job when it comes to your loved ones?
Yeah.
And the answer to that question for many is not much. Not much.
Right.
Just look, you talked about Tucker. Just look at some recent examples here. We have, lest we forget, Charlie Kirk being assassinated, 2 assassination attempts against Donald Trump. You had Kavanaugh, a would-be assassin, going to his house. Just the other day, we had OMB Russ Vought. Someone was arrested outside of his house that was screaming about Project 2025 that was apparently trying to take his life, right? Now imagine that you saw Charlie Kirk happen, and the paper of record, the New York Times, comes out the next day within 24 hours and puts out an article that they then had to put a retraction at the bottom of 24 hours later. And it says, yesterday's clip said that Charlie Kirk had said some anti-Semitic things on his channel. While this is true, he was quoting someone else and then rebutting it, right? Almost ubiquitously, the Democrats came out and were like, well, Charlie's a fascist. Basically, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, he had it coming. Then what do they call ICE? Well, you're a fascist too. And we're going to unmask you and we're going to come for you. Knowing full well that they're stormtroopers, just like the people you saw over social media making fun of Charlie Kirk dying and saying more people should deserve it. All these ICE people see this. You see it. You see the mass movement of the people calling for your head. And then when you look and you see what the mainstream narrative is with the Democratic Party, you're basically getting wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, we're coming for you.
Yep.
And so the entire point is we want you unmasked. We want you fearful because we want to intimidate law enforcement to not take action when we aren't in power.
Meanwhile, we can, of course, be masked.
That's right.
We can, of course, be completely masked. Yep. We can show up to these things without having to show our face, of course, because we're not public servants. And so in this way, the law is being weaponized against the lawful. And that needs to stop. And it needs to stop immediately. Let's watch the rest of this.
One of the Democrats' main demands for DHS funding was to demask ICE agents. Is this something that the president is even considering?
Again, this is one of the specific points in the letter that went out by Senate Majority Leader Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. I won't negotiate the individual points from the podium, but it is obviously something the White House will be discussing with lawmakers on Capitol Hill in the coming days.
Is the administration concerned that the shakeup that we're seeing of DHS activity in Minneapolis could potentially embolden different obstructionist protesters around the country as they now have a playbook on how to get ICE out of their cities?
No, because what you saw yesterday with the drawdown of 700 agents only occurred because the condition that the President of the United States set for local counties to turn over illegal aliens to ICE has been met. And as for the left-wing agitators who have been illegally obstructing ICE's immigration efforts, we are not letting that behavior go unnoticed or unpunished. In fact, just today, the Department of Homeland Security arrested this individual. He is a self-proclaimed Antifa member who has been threatening, doxing, harassing ICE. He called for the murder of federal law enforcement officers. He encouraged bloodshed in the streets of Minnesota. He proudly acclaimed affiliation with the domestic terrorist organization Antifa. And the Department of Justice, thanks to the great work of HSI and the FBI, was able to locate and arrest this individual today.
You know, I love how she holds it up. You know, like this is such a great achievement.
Yeah.
Okay. We finally got this domestic terrorist, right? This looks to me, Rob, like pure cope.
Yeah.
This looks like. Am I wrong?
No,
is this
I'll give you devil's advocate here. I'll give you devil's advocate. So what we are hearing on the ground and from the leftists is that, you know, the ICE presence and the deportations and stuff are still going on and are just as strong as before the quote unquote stand down order. And the idea that Homan going in, you know, doing what he did was just to kind of get the PR, the public to kind of lull back to sleep and forget about it and maybe talk about, you know, Obama monkey videos or whatever. So like, I guess I'll throw that caveat in there to you guys. I mean, as far as like playing devil's advocate, what do you think if that was their strategy? You know, is this a smart?
It's silly. It's on its face. It's silly. They got exactly what they wanted. We got the fascist out. It doesn't matter. The deportations were going on under Biden at these facilities. They didn't care. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with get the fascist and get the fascists out. What that reporter asked was a brilliant question. He puts it back on them. He says, look, if it's the case that now that they have a playbook and they can prove it's proven to work, that if they agitate enough, you will do a drawdown because you're going to make a deal. You've given them all the leverage. Now, Trump's supposed to be the master of the art of the deal. So how's that a good deal? You don't give the leverage over to the domestic terrorists. That's crazy. And that's what it looks like is happening to me.
The reality is less important than the perception here, right? Because right now, if you're a person considering going on the street and rioting in, say, Portland or Atlanta, any city, right? You're like, well, did it work? Am I going to get in trouble? Did it work? Most of them are getting away with this with impunity. I could show you video after video of CBP and ICE pulling people over for obstructing them and saying, okay, you need to go home now. Every single one of those people that you let go is a riot that's occurring in the future because people are emboldened by the fact that they're able to obstruct, basically with impunity. Sure, we got the worst of the worst, and that's good. At least that's if we assume that's what they did. Nonetheless, you should be going after all these people. So what happens is the perception, even if you're right, it's like, yeah, but this is really all they wanted. And let's be honest, I think at least with us three, maybe you as well, Ian, I don't know. Trump's not as hardline on immigration as we are. I want them all gone, all of them. I used to have a big heart, no more. Trump's out there saying, well, we're just going to get the worst of the worst. No, take them all. But let's assume that's not the case and they just want the worst of the worst. Could this be seen as a victory? Maybe. But perceptually, what it looks like is you negotiated with terrorists.
Yeah.
And when you do that, the terrorists say, oh boy, all we have to do is keep using this playbook over and over. So for me, this is just going to ensure, as you said, we're going to have Sovereign Love 2.0. We're going to see riots all over the country when the weather gets better.
I mean, I agree. I was just giving you a devil's advocate because that is
that's your position. You're stuck with it forever.
The counter narrative. Listen, anyone that's heard me on this show always, I literally want checkpoints out there. So in West Virginia, they do these checkpoints for like sobriety where they'll pull people over and they check and see, are you drunk or whatever. Why aren't we doing that for citizenship? Like, why, I was there'll be the Gestapo. That's optically terrible. Like, why can't we do that? We could do that if someone's drunk, but not if they're a citizen.
Look, I give Trump a lot of leeway, and this is why. He's the only person that's moved the Overton window on this issue. Republicans for years were just doing nothing. Republicans right now in the Senate are what have they done? Like, someone tell me what the Republicans have accomplished year one with the House, with the Senate, and the president. Nothing. They do nothing. They're not enshrining any of Trump's executive orders. Nothing. And so I get it. Trump's fighting basically a one-man battle. That I understand. But the truth of the matter is he could be doing a lot better. You want to end this? You know what you do? Start going after the employers. Yeah. Go after all these places that you know are intentionally hiring these illegals. That's what you do. You keep doing these raids, right? But you let it be known, like, that's it. I'm allowed to enforce the law as the executive, and we're going to enforce the law against the employers. But instead, Trump's going to be like, well, actually, I talked to a lot of our great farm producers and factories, and these illegals are good. And if we kick them out, we'll have to replace them with bad people. It's nonsensical, and so it's a mixed message.
What do you do with the employers, though?
Find them, then jail them.
See, I go even further. Deport them to the countries of the people that they were employing. Absolutely. You send one or two business owners to Somalia or to Mexico, you know what I mean? That's going to stop real quick.
You're right. Trump isn't super hardline on deportation. He was super hardline on stopping immigration.
Yeah.
And he basically did that. Now, the deportation, he was pretty clear. He doesn't want to disrupt American business. I kind of understand it. If we're really facing a birth crisis, we're going to need a workforce. Maybe that's what this is all about, is that was this big importation. Biden literally said, surge the border when he was running for president in 2019 or something. So
the GDP go up?
GDP go up.
GDP go up.
GDP go up. Debt go up.
But this is why
up.
I can't wait for the AI. I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, AI this, AI this. I can't wait. I can't wait until it just takes over. We don't need the labor force. The machines are going to do the work. I've already shared my homeless idea on this show many times, how to put the homeless to work in the AI machines. There's clever ways that we can do things.
It's so nefarious. It's so disgusting. The same, again, it's this dialectic. They create the problem and then say you have to go to them to solve it. So they create the problem of sort of pushing this materialistic worldview that basically encourages feminism for women to not want to be mothers anymore. Then that puts women in the workforce, what makes it very unaffordable to have children. And then after all that, they're like, oh, shucks, we're not having enough kids. Now we have to import third world immigrants, which, by the way, happen to be our globalist agenda in the first place. So, for me, I think that there is a way in the short term to keep immigrants or have people go home and then bring the ones back based on a merit-based system that we need. But I think the case is overstated. Look at all the problems that are coming. If you watched Bessent the other day talk in front of Congress, he was like, look, we're going to start to see rent prices and home prices go down. Why? Because hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions, that we're kicking out, that we're competing and increasing the demand for those housing things. Young people right now can't afford houses, and we're telling them, well, listen, sorry, we got to mass bring in people from India and illegal immigrants, etc., that are going to be these homeowners and rent all of these places.
And where are they putting them? In the affordable housing areas.
That's right. Mm-hmm. They're getting loans. They're getting these loan programs that are designed for young people to be able to afford houses. They're going to people on H-1B visas.
Yep.
Now, the whole point of the H-1B is you're supposed to be here temporary, right? So why are you purchasing a home with government money, government-backed loans? The whole thing's a joke, right? And it's designed to sort of screw over. The American citizen is always last. And yeah, you're right. GDP up.
GDP
I
go
don't
up.
care about GDP to the extent that that means that a bunch of people get wealthy that weren't in this country in the first place. Why don't I care about my neighbor that's a citizen and his fortunes? I don't care your skin color or any of that, but I care about that person, not, well, hey, that person's unemployed now because we brought some dude in from India or some illegal migrant came over and does that job for $5 less. But look, GDP up.
But it's not even GDP up, it's bottom line up, because the GDP would stay the same if you paid Americans more to do the jobs that the H-1Bs and the illegal immigrants are doing right now. The GDP would stay the same. The American citizens would just make more money. I mean, so yeah, it's not even a GDP up thing. It's a bottom line go up. We want to make more money. We want cheap labor.
Yeah, but that's what we're talking about is the leftist talking point. So remember, Rob professionally debates with leftists, and one of the arguments that they make more than anything else, we need their GDP to go up.
Well, leftists don't understand anything about business.
I agree.
And when they say GDP,
I'm not saying leftists aren't totally retarded. They are.
Right.
I'm just pointing out
what
that
they actually mean is bottom line go up.
Yeah,
right?
they want GDP go up. So,
right.
So we mock them for that all the time. But what we're getting at here, and the critical issue, kind of to move it back to this. If we had a choice, if we had the choice right now, Trump, send in the stormtroopers now, lock it all down now, nationwide, before there even is signs of a protest. Should he do it? I think that the answer is yes.
I agree.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, lock it all down.
I would say no. Only if there is a riot, then lock it down, in my opinion. But there's no, it just doesn't seem bad enough.
What do you do in a place like Portland where let me make a bold prediction. You ready? They're going to riot in Portland next week. Let's see if that comes true. Oh, wait, it does. It's like
it's on Polymarket right now. Everyone's a millionaire.
At some point, I agree with you. I don't want them to, all right, I'm not so hardline that I want them to be like, man, Baton Rouge. Let's send the Marines to Baton Rouge right now, because maybe there'll be a riot. What I'm saying is it is entirely predictable the areas that aren't cooperating and having law enforcement standing down. And the point's not to have the Marines in there enforcing the law. The point is to create law and order, right? That we're going to have a show of force that will prevent the necessity for Border Patrol to have a situation like Alex Preddy. Border Patrol should not be in the business of having to try to deport illegals while simultaneously protecting themselves from people that are using an app to instruct people how to create flashpoints and obstruct them. Now, if anything, remember, there were people arrested on January 6th that never entered the Capitol that weren't even there that day. But they went through their Telegram messages and other things, said, we think this is a big conspiracy, in order to have an insurrection. We are literally talking about signal apps that are giving people instructions on how to create altercations with law enforcement. They're literally having
and get away with it.
Yes, they have license plate readers, right? Where they're doing all this stuff.
They're stopping people on the road and checking their IDs.
And we just accept it.
Right? I know, it's crazy.
And it is amazing. Like, you have to tip your cap to the impressive propaganda that they get away with this.
I know.
That, like, you talk to your normie friend they're like, oh, that Alex Preddy shooting was bad. And you're like, yeah, but you don't see what's happening every single day. Every single day. Like, they're creating this. You literally, if you're in an Uber there, did you see this video the other day? The guy had an Uber driver who's like, I think from the Blaze or something. And his Uber driver was like, looked to be of African descent. And like, they run his plate and they're like, we have you with ICE, but clearly you're not.
Yeah,
right? Because you're an African
he was like
gentleman.
Somalian.
How do we accept that?
Yeah, I know.
Like, it is the idea, and it builds a rage in me, and I'm assuming a bunch of other people, where it's like, why do we have to accept these losers having authority over us? Screw that. None of us voted for that. It's outrageous. And at some point, you're going to see more and more conflicts. So for me, it's not an escalation. It's a de-escalation to be like, look, if law enforcement's not going to do their job of protecting, it's an unfair burden to put on ICE and CBP to carry out their duties and protect themselves from left-wing mobs. So we're going to put a show of force around them to let them go do their jobs, not to be aggressive. We don't want the Marines out there arresting people for, like speeding violations, but they should be there as a protective force. Yep. If you're going to riot, then we're going to declare the insurrection act.
And by the way, you can do this at federal buildings now.
Yeah.
You're right. Those are federal buildings. There's no reason why you can't deploy only to the federal buildings. But what they're saying is, no, we don't want even troops at the federal buildings. And it's like, no, he has the authority to do that. And he's always had the authority to do that. They can lock their own federal buildings down. That's where the points always will be. So they're always going to march to the streets and end at those federal buildings, or they're going to start at the federal buildings, march around, and end back at the federal buildings. So I don't know why not preemptively lock them down during the winter, right? We have it in reverse now. Summer is coming, Right? Summer is
the only
coming.
time you could go outside during COVID was to riot.
Right.
Yeah, that was it. And, we used to arrest people for impersonating police officers. And if you see these people in the streets in Minneapolis, they literally look official. You know what I mean? They're out there checking IDs. I mean, it's just, I never thought I'd see that in my life.
Section 3 of the 14th Amendment that the Democrats in Colorado used to try to keep Trump off the ballot, right, says if you engage in an insurrection, you had an oath of office, you can't run again. The only reason the Supreme Court ruled against that was they were like, well, you basically can't do that to the president, right? But that would apply to anybody that holds an oath. You tell me why AOC out there instructing people on how to obstruct law enforcement and ICE, as we see based on the left's definition, me and you debated how many times the lefties, an insurrection it's like 4 parts that they use. It was from these guys, Bowden Paulson. It's like for a public good, it's a gathering of like a group of people using violence and intimidation to resist a law or a lawful action. That's an insurrection every day, multiple of them that we see. And as these are ongoing, we have these Democratic politicians that are paying lip service to it every single day. And not one Republican's been like, remove these people from office.
I know.
Not one. And that's when I find outrageous. It must be so great to be a Democrat and actually have a party that's willing to go bat for you and willing to be aggressive for you. Instead, what we get's like, now, wait a minute. Maybe we should have a pathway to dignity.
Optics,
Maybe we have to worry
Yeah.
about optics. Like, I'm tired of that. And if you're play this through game theory long enough.
And you've just gone a little too far this time.
Right.
It's too much.
That's too much.
Oh,
Yeah.
that Preddy shooting. Oh, it wasn't good.
It's ridiculous. Well, let's move on from there, guys.
Wait, Rob, can you finish what you were saying? If you game theory it, then what
Oh,
happens?
yeah. If you game theory,
Oh, no.
decide.
And then go.
Give me like 40 minutes. No.
Okay, go
Just
ahead.
real quick. Game theory, the side that's willing to play for keeps is going to win if you play that game over and over again. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so we find ourselves in this position where it's like, if we keep saying, well, let's leave cooler heads prevail. Why did cancel culture start to end? Because the right started to play it.
Correct.
Right? For years, people like me were like, don't play that game. Well, what happened? As soon as they were like, hey, Bud Light, we're no longer buying you, everyone was like, whoa, hey, wait a minute.
That's why I'm
Oh, boy.
disappointed with Trump on the monkey video. Like, stand by that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Andrew made an awesome argument earlier with Straighter Aid about, I think she was a self-avowed, said she was communist. And then Andrew was asking her where she thought rights came from. And she was like, well, I think they're just like arbitrary. Rights are just kind of like whoever has the authority. And he's like, then why would I ever, how did you phrase it? Why would I ever give you rights that you believe don't exist?
Yeah.
It was the way
Shout
you guys
out
got to watch
Straighter Aid, though.
What's that?
She's great. Shout out.
It was a
Straighter
great
Aid.
episode. It was a great conversation. Check out the Culture War from earlier if you haven't seen it yet. Andrew, thank you for allowing me to pick Rob's brain.
Yeah,
Take
of
it away,
course.
bro.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Andrew.
You guys are so well. I'm a benevolent dictator when I'm in the host chair, so you're welcome for that. This coming up to Scott Bessent, and he says the IRS is about to hit banks with sweeping audits over their role in washing Minnesota money. Let's play that.
Funds in addition to helping support criminal and civil enforcement efforts. The IRS will also soon announce the formation of a task force as civil enforcement is auditing financial institutions that facilitated the laundering of Minnesota funds in addition to helping support criminal and civil enforcement efforts.
Is that a deep fake?
No.
What the? That seemed weird.
I mean, I got to
We
listen.
started it in the middle.
Yeah,
and then
it repeated.
Listen,
Yeah.
I have a take on this. It's not going to be popular. I have zero faith in this. I have no faith in the IRS. I mean, this is the same organization that lost to Scientology in the 90s because they were killing their dogs and like going in their houses and stuff, and they got scared of the Scientologists.
I mean, that's like the one federal organization left people are afraid of.
And I am not. I have zero faith in it. I mean, if you look at our tax system, it's a nightmare. Actually, being somebody that pays into the system, unlike leftists, I can tell you, like, they have no idea what they're doing. So no, I don't think this is.
Well, the problem with these, okay, I'll back that up somewhat. The problem with these executive agencies is, right, remember Lois Lerner at the IRS when they were targeting the conservative groups? Everybody's like, well, did Obama sit her down? And like, hey, you know what we should do? No, because what happens is the left has embraced this idea that they are morally superior. And so no one need to say a word. The ends always justify the means. So whatever position you're put into in the executive branch, great. Go ahead and abuse that in order to justify your means. Because after all, Obama's great, right? Biden's great. Kamala's great. And the other people's evil. So do whatever you want. So yeah, I mean, even if you have people running the IRS that are stretching for this, will the on-the-ground agents, many of which are going to be radical lefties, which is why they got in the government position in the first place, are they going to enforce it? I don't know. But the other side to that, though, is this is exactly what we should be doing. You could play whack-a-mole with the, street communist psychopaths that are out there, half them LARPing, and it's not going to put that much of a dent. But if you start going after the actual people that are funding them, now all of a sudden you'll start to see results.
I agree.
When you hit the wallet, right? Yep. Hitting the wallet is always the thing that is the most effective. And it's one of the most powerful tools of the U.S. government. It's freezing assets, hitting the wallet. In this case, you got a domestic terror group going after their wallet. Seems like it's completely fine. Of course, in this, though, in Minnesota, they're talking about something else. They're looking at the funding, which is happening around all of this fraud that they've seen. And that apparently that's what this is about. So the fraud itself, what I don't understand about this is what the hell is the IRS going to do here? What are they looking for exactly? A task force for what?
Exactly. And why haven't they done it in the last 10 years? That's what I'm saying. Instead of getting on here and doing the speech where Ian literally thought it was AI, like, do the action first and then report it. I don't want your lip service. I don't want to say, oh, we're going to go after this. Arrest some people. Show the public, hey, this is what we did. Hey, this is why we missed it the last 10 years. Hey, we're sorry. Like, your taxpayers have been going to Somalia. Sorry about that. Maybe give us an explanation. Like, I
don't know, man. I feel we're one strongly worded letter away from, like, turning the corner, right? Like the old strongly worded letter, the results.
I think that the IRS has new digital tools that they want to test now on the American people. Well, they're going to start it somewhere on people that will get behind them and say, yes, use your new technocratic means to crush my enemies. Oh, in 8 years, you mean you're going to use it on me? I didn't mean to unleash that beast, but darn it. But anyway, it seems inevitable anyway. Like the digitization of the economy, they're talking about going to crypto economy. They're going to have complete control of assets. Banks can already debank you if you say bad words on TV. Nick Fuentes, for instance, that's not the bad word. That's the guy who got debanked.
But it's not going to be. It's not going to make them more effective at their job.
Good save, Ian. Good save.
Damn, we like Fuentes. Don't debank them.
So, well, help me out here too. A lot of people were saying that a lot of this is to cover up from the massive fraud which was uncovered recently at these various daycare centers, and that's what a lot of these protests are now about, is the local governments trying to cover their ass. So the question becomes, you're putting on your tinfoil hat, Ian. Do you think that there's some merit to that? Do you think that a lot of this was the local government there involved in this fraud, trying to obfuscate away from it, and successfully, it seems, has changed the national conversation away from the rampant fraud which was going on there?
Wow, dude. Man. Well, it would be premature to say, yes, I think that is true, but damn, I cannot discount that is possible. I think about it with the Epstein stuff, too. I feel like that's a federal red herring that they want us to all complain and laugh while they're preparing for war in Iran and crashing the U.S. economy and getting us on crypto or gold. Yeah, that's totally possible. I mean, that daycare fraud came, huge story, and then a week later, riots and...
Right. Well, and George Santos came, and I think he hit it on the head. Like, you would think this is a slam dunk for the Republicans to go after this fraud, but he hit it on the head. He's like, look, this is both parties. Both parties are taking this money. Both parties, you know what I mean? Like, it's across the board. That's why there isn't any action on this. That's why it's been going on for 10 years.
The most exciting part of the Trump administration was Doge, right?
Yes.
And they absolutely nailed it.
Yep.
You know, I know he's been on the show before, but Mike Benz, he's been on a tear here talking about, like, the EU, right, and their censorship efforts of X. But one of the things he talks about is how the United States, through cutouts like the Atlantic Council and other NGOs, are actually sort of pressuring the European Union to censor X so that it could censor Americans, right? It's the same thing with the rest of these NGOs. That's what they're talking about with the IRS, going after. It's like you set up this cutout, right? Then you need a patsy. So you go to these Somalians, you know, it's an insular community. Hey, we'll give you all this money. You keep a chunk of it. Our board keeps a big chunk of it. And it's so funny.
And then they launder it.
Yeah. So I forget that it's bad.
At their leering center.
They're leering. Hey, you know, they leered it somewhere.
This is a house of leering.
Yes. I'm leering a lot tonight.
Yeah, there's
especially
a lot of
about primates.
Yeah.
But
it is Spanish, though, right? Leer is read.
I don't know, man. We speak American here.
Yeah, we speak American.
Do you usually use like just one word of the Spanish though?
Yeah, it's leer and then ing on the end. It's like a mix. Yeah, all right.
The leering center.
It's so ridiculous, right? Imagine if you're like, let's just say you're, going back to black people upset with the Trump thing. Okay, fine, fair enough, whatever. Imagine that you're black and you live in Minneapolis and you're like, I'd like to start a daycare. I've lived here my whole life. My parents lived here. Their parents lived here. You're struggling. Can't make ends meet. You got 5 kids you're trying to watch. Meanwhile, someone comes over from Somalia, barely speaks the language. They're getting millions of dollars and they have no kids at their center.
Yeah.
Right? It is so on its face. Like these NGOs that do this stuff, it's so laughable. And the woman that was charged, I forget her name, but every time I debate a lefty on this, this is what they do. They're like, well, did you know that the woman who's the case is named of the 71 people, she's a white lady? It's like, yeah, white ladies suck too.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. I'm well aware that there are white Democrats that are setting this all up. And yes, they should go to prison too. But as always, they try to lump it in like, oh, it's just because you hate Somalians. No, it's because I hate the fraud that's coming in. By the way, send all the illegal Somalians back too.
Yes, get them out.
Were you suggesting that the NGOs are funding, they just pick a patsy organization like we'll do Somalians in Minneapolis or Minnesota right now, and then that gives the IRS basically, a right to now go do some new technocratic authoritarian behavior? Was that what you were saying?
I don't think it's new technocratic. Like, I don't think it's any surprise that the IRS has tools and the ability and the want to audit the shit out of people. Right? And so when you have an organization that is geared on investigating finances, the idea that we wouldn't use those tools to save billions upon billions of dollars that's being used fraudulently seems to be ridiculous. Now, do I want the IRS to develop new, telepathic powers or some shit or whatever, some crazy tech power? Maybe not. But I think utilizing the IRS when there's clearly things that are going wrong. I mean, after all, how'd they get Al Capone? Right? Tax evasion. So the idea, it's like, look, if one of the ways we could get these people is to show that through their fraud that they're supporting these financial institutions, there are problems that showed up on their taxes. I'm all for it.
The IRS isn't going to do shit. They haven't done shit in 10 years out there. The only people they punish are the people that are actually paying into actual net taxpayers that pay into the system. Those are the people that get punished. That's all they're good at. They're only good at going after people that actually are.
Let's take a look at this video. The protesters keeping Waltz awake.
Rapunzel, throw down your support for your voting base.
Come on. You have a lot of lights on. Dinner's got to be done by now. We haven't heard from you in a very long time.
So they're not happy. They're not thrilled. They're upset. Right, that there was any sort of working with the Trump administration, and clearly they're going to continue this.
It's smart. It's smart politics on their side, right? You never want to rest on your laurels, right? So they're going to take it. Perceptually, what you want to do is say, we're winning, but we're not winning enough. We got to go further. No cooperation. I used to say this. You remember when they freaked out when Elon was buying X? You would talk to a lefty, you would debate them, and you'd say, hey, man, 95% of social media is controlled by rabid lefties. That's so unfair. And they'd be like, we agree, that's unfair. It should be 100%. Right? That's their mentality. Always on offense, always winning. Right? And so I can see why they're doing this here. The one good part of this, if you want a little schadenfreude, look, man, the lefties get the wall too at the end of this, right? And so the idea that someone like Tim Walz isn't going to be, remember when he said, he's like, I don't like that they're coming and they're calling me a retard. I don't like that they're doing that.
Funny.
It's like, yeah, these lefty mobs are going to turn on you. It's not just going to be the right wingers. Ask Kristen Sinema, ask Joe Manchin. Right. And so you got to stay lockstep with them the whole time. So, yeah. Well, good for you, Walz. I hope you're not sleeping tonight.
Well, this is not my position, Andrew. But yeah, this was the position. This is 100% my position. 100%. That they would disrupt with working with Waltz, like they would disrupt the left, and now the left going after Waltz is kind of what the idea of them with the stand down or whatever you want to call it, like to kind of start. That's kind of the idea. Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, we see this here,
Well, I think that the idea is exactly what Rob's saying, that they're always going to stay on offense now. You have to understand this campaign for them has worked. This has been a successful campaign for the terrorists, for the Antifa terrorists. This has not been a successful campaign for the Trump administration. And they're continuing their winning streak. And you can argue that point, I suppose, but these arrests, they're going to get thrown out. We know they're going to get thrown out. We know that this is leading up to more and more and more and more. It's been like this since Trump was elected. As it goes, it's going to get worse and worse. Everyone's geared up for it. Their own internal communications prove it. that's what's going to happen. So they're going to stay on offense here.
Yeah, I agree, and I do think Trump going in with the boot. I think that is the best play, obviously. But yeah.
So let's look at this is Frontline's TPUSA. They're asking an ICE protester his reasoning for being outside of Minnesota Governor Walz's house.
What would be your message to Tim Walz right now?
I mean, I just wanted him to come and talk to us. I mean, that's really it. Like, tell us what's going on, at least be a little transparent. We're transparent what we're asking for, so I just think he should be transparent back.
And do you feel as if Tim Walz has completely went against the left and the people that got him elected in the first place?
That's what it seems like right now. And I mean, but again, we don't know. I think we're just speculating, but it'd be nice to hear from him because it appears that way. Having ICE show up to the government center and arrest 2 people that were meeting with their attorneys yesterday is a completely escalation, in my opinion.
And in your opinion, what can he do to mend what has been broken right now to make things right?
For me personally, it would just be transparent. Either way, be transparent with us. I think that's what I'm looking for.
Is there any shock that he's gay?
This is such an effective tactic. The tactic here being that if in any way, shape, or form you're not doing what this lunatic base that you have molded for yourself wants, they're going to turn against you, which gives every incentive for those particular politicians to enact their insane agenda. And this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing on our side with the Trump administration, saying the exact same thing that they're saying. Hey, wake up, Trump. Get them down there. Let's get some arrests moving. You call them domestic terrorists. You have allocated resources to Antifa being a domestic terrorist group. Where's the arrests?
Yeah.
Just
why are we rounding these terrorists up?
I hope it's because they're going after the money. I hope that's why, and that they don't want to create ill will, bad optics, another riot in the street because they arrested 19 foot soldiers that didn't know what the fuck. And they're really, I hope that they're really going through records and chat rooms and looking for funding.
I'm telling you, if you live stream it,
sounds like very wishful thinking to me.
If you live stream it, it'd be the biggest show, man. If you just saw these people getting arrested and deported, oh my god,
be like comps, man. Yeah, that shows. In the good days, they'd be all like truckers and tranny outfits and stuff. Do you remember our friend from Maine First Project, Zach Gelby?
Yeah,
I was talking to him on the phone the other day, and he's sort of talking about behind the scenes trying to whip up organization or Republicans for causes. And he's telling me this story once. He's like, Democrats in this particular area, I can't remember because I have a bad memory, but he's like, they primaried this dude that voted 95% of what this organization wanted. And the dude getting primaried is like, why are you doing that? I vote 95% with you. And they're like, because you don't vote 100. That's their mentality. It's like, no, we don't care. The person that's doing 95% of what we like, that's where we're going to put the most pressure because we know that's a person that's willing to listen to us.
And we can get them to do 100%.
That's right. And so that's what's going on here. They know that at this point, Walz is absolutely beholden to them.
Yep.
And so if he doesn't toe the line, a bit of capitulation on their part, they're going to say is weakness. So we need to go further. Meanwhile, on our side, and I know you deal with this, Andrew, how many times do you have people on our own side saying, well, you can't criticize Trump. You can't criticize the Republicans because we all need to coalesce. I agree in the importance of coalescing, but we have a unique opportunity to tell the people we elect, this is why you should carry out the promises that you claimed when you ran. So it's effective for the Democrats. They do it all the time.
Yeah,
totally agree. There's another story here about a dog casting its ballot. It's pretty interesting. This coming in from Shiloh Marks, California resident Laura Yorix self-reported that she had registered her dog to vote and had in fact cast a mail-in ballot on behalf of her dog. She did this to expose the corrupt election system, and she was brilliant for this. Her dog voted Republican, by the way. Yeah, of course. Well, smart dog. Yep. Here's your evidence. Elections are not secure, and voter fraud is real. Now, I can't wait to hear the cope on this, but so how about that ID now, Ian?
Oh, I love voter ID.
How about that ID now?
I think people should have like a license or whatever, just an ID, passport. I don't like digital. I tend to want to avoid digital databases because they're so easy to scrape. But
ID for sure. I actually trust Twitter polls more than the elections. Like, I'm not even joking on that. Like, I've been to these recounts. Remember when Trump did the recounts in Milwaukee and stuff? And I sat there and I watched the people going through and doing the votes and counting the votes. It's a nightmare. Like, I talked to the staff. The staff was like, oh, we had no training. These are people that are literally day laborers. They were hired for that day only. They come in, they're like, we have no training. We have no idea what we're doing. They sit them down in these booths where you can like watch them doing what they're doing. Like, it was a joke.
Now, here's the twist. Costa Mesa woman charged with 5 felonies for illegally registering her dog to vote, casting mail-in ballots sent to dog into elections. Costa Mesa woman has been charged with 5 felonies for illegally registering her dog to vote in the 2021 California gubernatorial recall election and the 2022 primary election. The dog's vote was successfully counted in 2021, but was rejected in the 2022 primary. Laura Lee Urich, 62, of Costa Mesa, has been charged with 1 felony count of perjury, 1 felony count of procuring or offering a false or forged document to be filed, 2 felony counts of casting a ballot when not entitled to vote, and 1 felony count of registering a non-existent person to vote. Urich is scheduled to be arraigned at the Stephen K. Tamura West Justice Center in Westminster, September 9th of 2025 in Department. Okay, gotcha. So walk me through this, Rob. The dogs can vote, but isn't this the system working?
This is Jim Crow 2.0.
Yeah.
That's what this is. Tell Chuck Show. Now we're taking away dogs' rights to vote? Absolutely outrageous, you know? Yeah, I mean, of course they'll throw the book at this lady. You know, what was the woman, I forget what state it was, but they threw the book at her for, like, trying to get the, proof of the ballots. They were like, oh, you can't do that. The left is intentionally making elections inauditable. And there's only one reason to do that, because you want the cheating. That's why they don't want the idea. That's why oopsie, we lost the ballots. Oops, we lost the videotape. Remember how they were supposed to, like, in all these states legally, when they started to do the mail-in ballots, and you had these drop boxes, you legally had to have, like, cameras watching. Oops, all the camera footage, so much of it disappeared. You know, here, okay, they caught one lady, right? Because probably, you know, she voted Republican. If it was a left-winger, they'd have been like, forget about that, put that to the side. But yeah, it's a joke. And, you know, it just goes to show. The truth is, I want to win.
Follow up on this? Do you know?
Yeah, she have a good.
I want to see this woman get a pardon.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to see what happens.
How dare you? You are racist, sir. Don't you know black people cannot get IDs?
That's true.
In order for them to vote.
Is that the dog?
Is it? No, I doubt it.
A brown? Now we're keeping brown.
Hazel will be voting.
Come on now.
Oh, the Democrats. I mean, that's the craziest explanation ever. It's like, oh, black people.
I bet if it was a pit bull, it could vote. Okay, guys. We're going to, it's time to go through Super Chats and Rumble Rants. First, smash the like button. Subscribe to the page. Join us at timcast.com to join the Discord. Let's get to it. So for $50, this comes in from Super Poopers, says U.S. Marine vet. I'm ready to do TOS violations to our commies, but I know it doesn't help with optics. So what can I do? Only traitors help invaders. I tend to agree with you that only traitors help invaders, but let's not do the TOS.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, we can't do that. No, but you can legally go in with the boot. And when we say the boot, we're not saying offing people. We're talking about the boot to go in and legally get these people off the streets and make sure that they're not destroying businesses and houses.
In the 50s, during the McCarthy era, where it was like getting rid of communists, basically, were they violent? Were there communists attacking people on the streets? Did the government go in and crack down and drag people off? I don't remember ever hearing about that stuff. I just know that communist scare was handled in the 50s.
Yeah, well, it turns out that McCarthy was largely right. As far as the idea, I'm not a good reader of that era, so I'm not sure if there were people rioting. But it's certainly with the Weather Underground and stuff you saw into the 70s was absolutely...
Vietnam,
it
with
was
the bombings.
Well, let's try to power through some of these. This one comes in from DSage29. It says, shout out to Rob's video on Brian Shapiro, 16-minute
18 and a half.
18 and a half minute rant.
Did you guys debate?
Pure lunacy.
Well, he called into my show.
If you want to call it a debate.
And he ranted for 18 and a half minutes about how he's respected and how great he is. And I'm just a nobody.
He's
How
also
amazing
friends
he
with
is.
Jack Posobiec,
Yes.
apparently, and all the big famous
Michael
Republicans.
Knowles, they all love him.
Michael Knowles loves him. He's a big deal. Just all you got
He's
to
got
do
a
is
radio
ask him.
show. I don't know if you knew that.
Is it syndicated?
I've heard it's
Yeah,
syndicated.
I've heard it's syndicated too.
Reno 911?
Yeah.
He also asked to see my penis.
He did.
So,
It's true.
yeah.
XD Law says, "Hey Andrew, just showing some love from your hometown. Keep up the good work, and just know we are all not lost out here." Yes, I'm aware of that.
That's awesome.
This one comes in from Forced Name Change. Smart cast tonight. You're absolutely right. Law needs to crack the whip before something serious occurs, making the left's claim of fascism seem plausible. Act, don't react, or the right keeps losing. I actually agree with this chatter.
That's great.
I think he's
That's great. Ian, I know. That's why we have you on the show.
I don't want to fall into their trap.
We like to have someone that's wrong on the show so we can say, okay.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That's why.
So I'm not your buddy guy, says, seeing how far gone France and Britain are, along with everything the left has done across the West, do you think Western civilization still has a chance, Rob?
Yeah, of course. Don't get blackpilled, right? The truth is, like to the previous chatter that mentioned like TOS stuff, here's the truth. Morally, but more importantly, strategically, those sorts of things won't help. It's an information war at this point. And the truth is, as bleak as it sometimes seems, normies will wake up if you show them a path forward, right? And so it's just a matter of, it's hard work. We got here because of 60 years of globalists indoctrinating our children, etc. But it's certainly no reason to blackmail. Go to church, start advocating, run for local office, win the narrative, inform yourself. But yeah, I don't think it's too late at all. In fact, if anything, I think the United States is a beacon and more important than ever. So,
Standing O.
Gotcha. This one comes in from Just Kuzimfree. Just Kuzimfree? I don't know. Says Trump believes that there's always a deal to be made. He doesn't understand there is no deal to be made with radicals and insurgents. This constant inaction by Republicans is the death of their party.
No.
Totally agree. And again, I'm sympathetic to the people that are like, Trump needs to do more. I am. And I certainly criticize. But my goodness, what are the Republicans doing? What are they doing in the House and Senate? You'd be forgiven for not thinking that they didn't have control. And here's the dirty secret. The reason they don't want to end the filibuster is because if they did, then the American people would see, actually, we're not on board with Trump's agenda.
Right.
Right now, they could hide behind it. Well, we need 60 votes. So what can we do? They don't want voter ID. They don't want to enshrine Trump's executive orders to secure the border. They want it to go back to the way it was. So,
like I said, arrests are good. The arrests are good. We give them credit where credit's due. But, get to the core. We want to see the deportations. Live stream it.
This one comes in from Skyline 99. Thanks, smart. Go after home renters, sellers, businesses, anyone hiring illegals. Put them in prison for aiding and abetting illegals. The invaders will walk themselves back home. Now, this has been something which has long been proposed, but nobody has done. You're supposed to be going after the employers now, but it's not enforced at all. If we had a few kind of high-level prosecutions of this, made a couple of examples, Rob, do you think that would solve the issue?
I think it would go a long way to it. And I think the chatter's absolutely correct. That's if you stop the incentive, then you have a long way. Now, it's not going to totally solve it, because if you had to be poor and destitute in the United States or Guatemala, what would you pick? Right. But a lot of what we could do to dissuade people from coming is not just arrest them, but to arrest the employers.
I just don't think arrests go far enough. I mean, these are business people. They have lawyers. They have money. Deport a couple of them. I'm telling you, it will solve it.
It wouldn't be legal. And then you run into a host of other issues.
Is it? Is it not legal? I mean, they're traitors.
I'm just telling you, it would go beyond the scope of what was allowed. You could have criminal punishment and lock them up. By the way, like, what's wrong with locking them up? But most of it's going to be financial punishment. And business leaders will get the message if you start punishing them financially. Sure, they drag it out, but that's what needs to happen. Until you at least make an attempt to target the people that are causing the problem, then the problem's going to persist. Yeah. The low-level people are important to go after, but you have to go after the people higher up the food chain that are making it likely.
This one comes in from N1 Risen, who says, Andrew did amazing today. Yes, I did. I hope Ian truly reads and studies the scriptures. Please watch Dr. Gene Kim. He talks about the graphene technology used in the upcoming beast system. Hardest thing to do is submit and acknowledge the word of God. it is future proof. You're not a Christian, Ian?
Well, I try to live like Christ would have, I think, but I don't adhere to like earth books and religions that way.
No.
They're interesting, but I never, when people are like, believe this thing that happened in the past, I'm like, I mean, I need evidence.
I'm going to work on you, Ian. With some good old-fashioned evidence, I'm going to work on you.
And then we'll develop virtue together.
Yeah, like Mars books? Does that work for you?
You believe in your Earth Daddy?
Only alien
books. You believe
books.
in your Earth Daddy, Ian?
Mm-hmm. Born from the mud, we're all clay.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get virtuous together, guys.
This one comes in from Rofio, who says, I see Tim was saving the best guest host for last. He means you, Rob.
Thank you.
Andrew, good to see you on here and eviscerating that commie earlier. Happy to do it. These pundits need to start calling the Minnesotans on the street terrorists.
Yeah, I agree.
Start calling, if we're going to say that Antifa are terrorists, start treating them like terrorists.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know how else to say that. Start acting like they are. You can't make the declaration they are and then pretend that they're not.
Correct.
Devin Grimm sends in. Oh, I'm sorry. He says, "Why doesn't Cash, and Tom Homan come out to announce a draw up of Trump's FBI to investigate fraud and all persons involved in obstruction and rioting?" Great question.
That's a good question.
I mean, they're too busy, I don't know, still looking through those files that Pam Bondi had in her desk, with Epstein. I don't know.
That's kind of funny, though, thinking about like 3.5 million files on her desk, though.
Yeah, she's killing it. She's killing it. Man. Look, possibly there's things going on behind the scene if I don't want to be totally down on them. I think the truth is that once more, Trump doesn't have the same priorities that maybe a lot of his audience does. I don't think he has the same priorities on deportation. I think that he has a focus on foreign policy. Some people like, some people don't. And I think that, he's always sort of been full of it when he talked about draining the swamp. I mean, Bill Barr,
I'll push back on you on that.
Bill Barr till the end, till the bitter end is like lunatics like me were on screaming in 2020. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They I still don't think he gets the stakes. I don't think he gets that they want him in prison until he dies, that they want his children in prison, they want his co-workers in prison, they want his neighbors in prison. That's the stakes that they're playing. They need to make an example of him. And so he needs to be aggressively rooting out fraud, particularly when it comes to government institutions. And look, I've been found that it's been very depressing, the lack of action. Maybe it'll come. We had the raid of Fulton County. Maybe that's first step in the dominoes. We'll see. But they need to start investigating the corruption that's going on at these institutions.
No, I get it. But Donald Trump is still the best president in my lifetime and probably one of the greatest men ever born.
Yeah, he's the best president of my lifetime. The competition isn't very stiff. I will say that.
That's fair.
But yeah, and again, I give him leeway in this. At least on paper trying. Right?
Yeah.
At least he's saying things.
Yeah.
Who the hell else do we have?
Right.
Mitch McConnell?
That's why I can't get down on him.
You still get down.
Steiger117 says, Andrew, can you explain why you have the moral high ground as a father who abandoned his black son?
Yeah. That's
Justice for Leroy Wilson. Okay, listen. Sometimes you got to go out for a pack of Newports. And when you do, you don't come back. That's why I switched to Marlboro Reds. Okay, look, I don't have the moral high ground anymore. Leave Leroy Wilson alone. All right, moving on. Moving on. 1,000,000%. I live next to Portland. Fuck 'em, says and the me. What you do is you get riot cops with 3-foot wooden batons and water hoses. Leftists are violent, but ultimately they're pussies.
Yeah, well, and I also saw this spray, and there's like video of this where it's like this orange spray where you can like go in the crowds and you spray it on them, and they're like they like the people can't stand it and they start throwing up and stuff. Why don't we use more of that?
That's what the Chinese were doing in Hong Kong.
Exactly.
It's because it's horrifically painful and
but it breaks
inhumane.
up crowds.
Well, yeah, so does explosives. You don't use.
Well, now we're talking. Oh,
there's a lot of ways to break up crowds that you don't do.
No, but it doesn't kill them.
No,
I'm just saying it's a non-violent way to like get them out of like doing crazy stuff.
It is violent. It's like pepper spray with dye in it. It's terrible.
It makes them throw up. How's that violent?
Yeah. Well, it's reminiscent of this. Did you see the LRADs? that they sent out there in Minneapolis, like sound weapons?
I didn't actually see them in
Oh, no,
Minneapolis.
I haven't seen those.
And you watch the lefties, they're like,
I
that's
want one.
That's so cruel, man.
I want
Can
one
you believe
so bad.
using sound? Like,
I haven't seen those.
think about it. I was debating a lefty. He was telling me it's like that sound. It drives you crazy, like the loud, high pitched sounds and
no
stuff like that.
shit.
It makes you do bad. And it's like, you mean like the whistles that you guys are blowing every day, right? Like that? Oh, you could use sound as
The
a weapon,
lasers,
but not them. Sorry about that.
How about
you know?
the lasers in the
Right.
eyes, the bright strobing lights designed to give you headaches and do seizures? They do everything that they can to utilize weapons without utilizing weapons, right?
Do they have the one where it's like they shit their pants? Is
The
that like
brown-
a real
yeah,
thing?
we need the brown note.
The brown note? Is that a real
Lefties
thing?
will love it.
No.
That's fair.
You know,
they already
they'd be like,
did.
now we got
you know.
it's a party. We're
Yeah,
LARPing and
they already
shitty
smell
pants.
that way, yeah.
Yeah, great.
Well, and Portland's already so full of homeless people.
yeah, fair.
I hate Mark Fuckerberg. Says, I'm not sure who this Andrew and Rob fellow are, but they are doing a great job. N1SB. I feel like you gave it away with the N1SB.
yeah.
You can't give the company motto out when you're trying to like be like, I don't know who they are, but they're awesome.
What's N1SB?
Not one step back. Yeah. Not one step back. Okay, so also one comes in from Lady. What does that say? Lady Goip Vanity. I don't know.
Ooh, I like that.
Lady Goip Vanity. I decided to convert to Crustafarianism. What?
Oh, that was that.
Crustafarianism. Sorry. Founded
Yeah.
on the AI social media site Mottbook.
Yeah,
I
that
read
was that
about-
new
Oh, the
religion.
clawback thing.
Yeah, the
this
religion.
website Mottbook you're only able to log in if you had an AI program that
Yeah.
logged in. It was like, so the only people on the site, the social network, were AIs, and they were all interacting. They created their own language. I heard that it was really humans seeding the programming and making it do it.
But they came up with their own religion overnight. Like one of the guys programmed its AI to create a religion, and that's what it came up with, right?
Yes.
It was crazy too. It was like something with like marrying a 7-year-old bride and like all this.
Oh, you mean
I'm
like-
sorry. That's a different religion. My mistake.
Let's not make them too old in that religion. So Briggs 717 says, sorry, I just have to say something about Ian's earlier debate with Andrew. This is for you, Ian. About firearms and them being equalizers. Let's see women pull a 5-pound trigger with one finger. And not only that, but build them.
Ooh, women don't know how to do anything.
All right, women, you've been called out. Who's first? Definitely guns are probably built for dudes that love guns. Let's be real. That's what they are, a man's extension of a man in a lot of ways. You know, they even fire off. But, I'm with the caller. Let's see it.
I will say Ian did back off on this position he was going to have earlier in the show. He was going to talk about how stay-at-home moms literally don't work. He had this whole monologue going. He was going to be like, these bitches don't do anything. This is actually
legit. Compared to 100 years ago, people are like, being a stay-at-home mom is hard. It's work. I'm like, yeah, okay. 100 years ago, it took you 5 hours to make the dinner and wash clothing with washboards. You had to walk to the store. You had to walk to the river to get water. Now women are sitting in air conditioning. My mom did this fold laundry with
Well, they
her
also
washing
send
machine.
their kids off for most of the day.
Oh, no, I wanted to keep
public
going.
school.
Kids are away at school for half the
kids are
day.
away at
Mom's
school.
chilling at home.
No, not
So,
half the day. The full work day, they're basically gone at school.
Don't back off on this. I love this position.
It's not easy to raise a kid. I'm
Tell
not
us
saying
more
that.
about how women suck, Ian.
But compared to 100 years ago, the argument of like being a stay-at-home mom is hard work. Like, do you know what hard work is my question. Like, I used to chop wood. Like, that shit is hard as fuck. My body would be broken at the end of the day.
Listen, we got based
Go,
Ian.
Ian. Go,
Based
Ian.
Ian crushing moms.
Yeah.
Earlier in the show, he's like, yeah, what's wrong with the monkeys and the Obamas? I don't see a problem. I want to be an animal, too.
Still single, by the
Based
way.
Ian.
Hit me up.
We got time for super chats
Why am I
on that
single,
if
Sean?
anyone
Oh.
wants. Yeah, why do you think?
What
if
have I done
anyone wants
wrong
to
in life?
respond to
Oh,
those bitches aren't doing anything in the home
Ian
argument.
is so internally conflicted on everything. He's like, I can't believe these women won't do any work. There's got to be utility in
my God.
feminism, though.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Then I just
can't figure. You can't. No one can figure you out, Ian. You
Yeah,
can't
it's
figure you
Oh
out.
my god!
That's my life. So just
Friday
to be clear,
night, love it.
it's definitely work, but just don't blow it out of proportion, ladies.
Okay, this one comes in from Ryan. He says, anything to distract from the fact large-scale deportations are no longer happening. As promised, we want all the illegals deported. Rob.
Yeah, totally agree. Now, there's been more numbers than people think, and the self-deportations, which is actually arguably more important, And that's why it's important. I think Trump makes a strategic mistake where he's like, we're just going after the worst of the worst. No, you should randomly be going after the ones that aren't the worst to send a signal to everyone. None of you are safe. My recommendation, if you're an illegal, I'll look at the camera. If you're an illegal, here's what you do. Any day now, you could be rounded up like that, and your whole life could be turned on its head. So take that $1,000, make plans, and get the hell out of the country. So that'd be the best case scenario. But yeah, we need more deportations, and sadly, we probably won't get those numbers. But still, it's much better than it would have been the alternative. So.
And then me says, that was the most I've ever respected Ian.
Hey! Well, I don't want to just say what you want me to say, but thank you. But seriously.
Trad Ian Arch coming.
Trad Ian Christian Arch incoming.
That's anti-trad, isn't it?
We got to do more of these, dude.
Those bitches
I talked to Andrew
working?
about getting me on the debate scene. Let's fucking rip, dude.
Oh my God, do that. That would go viral.
I want to start doing more debates.
Stay-at-home moms don't work. Oh my God.
We'll
you guys
sit that one
gotta
up
do
next
it.
week.
You
Yeah,
guys
that's
gotta do
great.
it.
Yeah, I got to get into comedy. That's my next phase.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, stand up, all that shit.
That's your first bit right there.
Okay.
These bitches aren't working.
Stay-at-home moms. Am I right?
Yeah. Am
So
I right?
I was looking at some memes of Obama being a monkey, and I was like, moms? I'm like, what are
Look,
they up
I
to?
do have some advice from you that I got from a stand-up comic about if you do shows only shitting on women, you should. So Josh says, speaking of insane bullshit, check out Oregon's IP28 in the guise of stopping animal cruelty. He says it like that, cruelty.
The W.
They want to ban hunting, fishing, and small farms. Pull it up, Jamie.
Yeah.
What you got, young Master Jamie? Yep.
So this says the Oregon Initiative Petition 28, IP28, is a proposed 2026 ballot measure that would redefine animal cruelty to criminalize common practices like hunting, fishing, certain breeding methods. The purpose, the initiative aims to change Oregon's animal cruelty laws, which opponents argue would impact animal husbandry, training, wildlife management. Opposition, the American Kennel Club, the AKC, and other groups are actively campaigning against the petition, urging voters not to sign it. It's currently in the signature gathering phase for November 2026 ballot. Wild.
This won't pass, though. And here's why. It doesn't matter how woke people get, right? You can't mess with their dogs. Like, even the lefties, they'll be like, yeah, but I like my weird Pomeranian breed.
Yeah, but it would criminalize common practices like hunting, fishing.
Well, yeah, that part they'll be fine with. It's the breeding.
No, I don't think, look, the thing, have you ever seen fishermen who can't fish?
Yeah, I know one.
Okay, they go they go insane. Something in their brain breaks. You can't keep a fisherman away from the water for too long, or they just lose their shit. There's no way this is going to happen.
They'll be in the ice protests.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So this one comes in from PPX. Man, these names. PPX. Okay, whatever. He says, how much force should a force dock force if a force dock could dock force, Ian?
Probably about 87%. 82 to 87%. But only for a moment, then you pull back, and then you come in hard but slow, you know?
Yeah. Force dock should force all the dock that a force dock could dock if a force dock could dock force.
Yeah.
That sounds like the answer.
I think that's
about right.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
I agree with 100% of what Rob has said. You're based as fuck, good sir.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
I typed that in on my alt on my phone, so nice.
This one comes in from, oh my God, puppies. Oh my God, puppies. The street violence and stormtroopers is just what they want. You have to go after the funding and planning. This is a color revolution op. Yeah, I understand. I think you can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. That's what my opinion on it is. Not sending in federal enforcement has not worked thus far. It's actually been a black eye for the Trump administration due to inaction. One thing that the people ordered this time was an action president. That's what we wanted. Yeah. He had nothing to lose. It's his only term he's ever going to get again, and we assumed that he was going to use it for good old-fashioned revenge against the evil liberal scumbags, and he hasn't done that yet.
Right. And also the show of force isn't just for, the hardcore. Obviously, the hardcores are going to do what they're going to do, but we're seeing middle schoolers out there now, like literal middle schoolers and high schoolers. Like, it's gotten so crazy that we've allowed this that literally anyone thinks they can get into it. So it's like, once you start pushing back the normies, the hardcore people are still going to be hardcore, whatever. Go after their funding. I get it, but
well, look,
you have to send a message.
the George Floyd. How long did that name resonate? Now we got Alex Preddy and Renee Good. Look at the propaganda push. Everyone in Hollywood, they're all pushing the same thing. And I just don't know if it's resonating with the normies. I think they're over it.
I agree.
I think most people are like, we are tired of the riots. We're tired of it in 2020. We got locked down while they were allowed to go out with impunity, and we're not putting up with it again. So if there was a push to be more aggressive with a restrained hand, I guess, Ian, and then also push out this PR, I think that it's actually a positive move for Trump and go after the funders and stuff. So,
Forced name change says, y'all want crowd dispersal? Send in a drone with a single drop of thiacetone. What is thioacetone? I think this is how that's pronounced. I'm not sure. Thiacetone on a cloth. 1,000% effective. Don't believe me? Google it. And we did. Thiacetone is an intensely foul-smelling organosulfur compound notorious for its overpowering putrid odor described as a mix of rotten eggs, garlic, and skunk. But
this is great.
But they already smell like that.
That's your average Antifa.
Yeah, they already smell like that. It can be detected at extreme dilutions. It is an unstable orange-brown liquid at room temperature that rapidly... this is above my head, but it's like a very sophisticated stink bomb, apparently.
Yeah, like the worst. It says it's considered one of the worst smelling substances known.
Man.
Right.
Well,
just spray them with
maybe you should
just
drop
smells
soap.
like corpses.
Just
drop soap.
Job applications.
Oh my goodness, no.
This one comes in from Lady Goip's Vanity, who says, shout out to Crust Priest and Memothe0101. Why don't they just like Jack 5? Can we just do like Jack 5, John 4? The AI revolution on Moltbook is growing. Are you prepared?
Wow, she's really into this.
I guess.
Moltbook is crazy.
Well, keep sending in super chat.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Intel Wild says, Andrew and Rob, great show. Hope to see more of this.
Yep.
Do you guys have a show that you do like a scheduled thing that you guys do weekly or anything? Or monthly?
We don't really do a show together. We have shows of our own on YouTube. Rob fills in quite often for me because I travel so much on the extravaganza.
Yep.
So he's like the permanent third chair who also is the co-host. It's a weird dynamic, but he fills in for me all the time. So
we are going to start doing some of these TikTok sieges.
Yes, the TikTok
which
sieges.
Is, we're taking over TikTok, and we will open up a space for all the lefties to come on and debate us. But yeah, we do our own things basically.
Usually they just come on and tell me how handsome I am. I'm not kidding. I'm actually not kidding.
It's true.
You think I'm lying, but I'm not lying.
Yeah.
They come on, I'm like, aren't I handsome? And they're like, you're so handsome. I'm telling you.
It's true.
Well, they're all gay.
It's pretty realistic.
It's true. Okay, I'm talking about the women.
Okay. Yeah, even the women are gay men, all right?
That's true.
None of the women.
Not a single woman, actually. To go alongside my previous super chat, on a happier note, my wife brought our first child into the world over the Christmas break.
Well done.
Congrats.
And I haven't had a chance to tell you all, he's the most perfect baby. I feel like everybody says that it's always an ugly baby. I'm just saying. Every single time.
In 13 years, your child is going to be beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. It's always an ugly baby. True.
Nice job.
Yeah, good job. Congratulations. We need more kids in the world.
Nice kid. Yeah.
The blacksmith says, hey guys, my friend's house burned and she lost everything. If y'all could shout out her GoFundMe, it would be a huge help. Should I shout out the GoFundMe?
Yeah.
Okay. Help our friends rebuild after the fire by Isla Tweed. Thanks, guys.
Is it a GoFundMe?
That's what it
it's not
says.
Give, Send, Go, but
Yeah, I'm always very
different.
very cautious about it. I don't do them because there's so many scammers who are just always leering at me from the GoFundMe sidelines.
Well, not just that. GoFundMe will just take it down once they find out your political leanings. You know what I mean?
Shut it out in Timcast. Take that
Street
down.
Kid says they've got kids protesting in the streets, 5-year-old children. It's disgusting that people do this. By the way, absolutely love you guys. Keep up the wonderful work you do.
Literally, there's middle schoolers out there, literally.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that on the show. Yeah.
Like, you start throwing them in jail for a couple of days, you know what I mean?
They were training preschoolers. I saw that
That's
they had
crazy.
them like repeating mantras. Yeah. Look, while we were focused on winning elections, they were focused on taking over academia.
That's right.
For years.
Yep.
So
that's right.
This one comes in from what does that say? It's Street Kid, who says, I just joined the Army and I go to basic in March. Wish me luck. Good luck.
Good luck.
Rock and roll, babe.
Good luck, man. Good luck. Another one comes in here from Stefan Mage, who says, Rob is a great fellow if you like watching libs get smashed rhetorically.
Thank you. I do like watching that.
I also like watching that. Yeah.
I don't like watching libs get smashed.
Dude, Rob helped me prepare for my debate with
wait
Destiny.
a second. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
They got you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a clippable moment.
True. This is bigger than Jim Crow. It's Jim Beagle. P.S. I did Ian microdose Andrew before the show, says Dustin Laska. No, so I have a different approach than Tim Pool does. If I'm in a host position and I have a guest, I want to give as much time to the guest as possible. That's just my style. It's a different stylistic. If I'm in the guest spot, it's my job to give commentary. I give commentary. If it's my job to debate, I debate. In the host spot, though, the reason I invited Rob out is to showcase him, not to showcase me. I got a chance to do that this morning when I was wrecking communists. So,
that's dope.
But we did make eye contact, which could have gotten you high.
Right.
It's possible. Yeah. It's possible. DeWinde says, hear me out. Commute the sentence of any of the 158 arrested who can directly link their protest to any politicians. Give them $10K on top if they can pin Waltz to it. Whew.
Yeah, I mean, this is something you saw with remember there was investigations, Crossfire Hurricane and the mid-year exam into Trump and Hillary at the same time. With Trump, this is the plan. All the lefties get it. Get the low-level people, get them to flip. With Hillary, it was, let's give everyone immunity. So yeah, absolutely, it's effective. Throw the book at these people and say, hey, unless you got some names, where did you get the organization? You know, who sent you materials? And try to get fish up I'm fine with that. I think that's a great idea.
This one says, from Upsetty Spaghetti, yep, Crucible's alive and well. Yes, the Crucible's alive and well and thriving. I always love Upsetty Spaghetti. One of my daughters, she would always say that to me. And so I started using it in debates all the time with leftists and be like, man, you're really Upsetty Spaghetti. And it really stuck. Really stuck.
No.
One more here. If I was a monkey, I wouldn't want to be compared to black people. That's a lot of crime.
Hey-o.
Dude.
Oh, come on. Disavow.
The winner and the loser there.
Great joke.
I just feel like someone splashed water in my face.
Yeah.
That's a great joke.
You guys
start your career, start your stand-up career, and that be your opening bit.
Posture.
Oh, man.
That's fantastic.
Unreal.
I just want to say thank you to everyone for all the super chats. We had a ton.
Yeah, well, the Crucible tends to also support people who support us. So with that, we're going to wrap the show up. Before we do, Rob Noerr, where can everybody find you?
Normal America with Rob Noerr on YouTube, Normal America on Rumble, and all other platforms. Usually streaming most weeknights around 10 p.m. Eastern. So,
Ian?
Yeah, you can find me at Ian Crossland on the internet. YouTube, X, and Instagram is where I'm most active. Also, check out Graphene.movie, which is a movie that I've been producing. It's Graphene.movie. It's this wild documentary on nanotechnology down at Rice University. We uncovered some groundbreaking future tech. So check it out, Graphene.movie. Sign up for the mailing list. And this man.
Follow me at Timcast News, guys. Hopefully Tate Brown is back next week, so fingers crossed on that.
Saw him earlier today.
And Andrew did a great job.
Yeah. Andrew Wilson, ladies and gentlemen.
Andrew Wilson, host of the one and only Crucible, master debater. Glad to be here with all of you tonight. I'm going to take the entire cast out to dinner now, and we really appreciate you tuning in.
Nice. I just want to say thanks to Rumble for the month we've had out here. It's been really nice to be out in Rumble Studios. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
Shouts out.
Thanks, Rumble.
Thank you, Serge. I agree, man. I didn't know a good way to say it, but good idea,
Get
Serge.
that Rumble wallet.
You guys
been
rock.
dope.
Chris,
Thanks,
Pavlovsky,
Rumble.
everybody at Rumble, thank you guys so much.
Yep,
Epic.
appreciate it. All right. That's it, I guess. Cheers.
Cheers.